Welcome to episode 33 of the current backloggers. The date is September 24th. I'm your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cody G. Cody, how are we today?
I'm great.
Thank you for joining us today.
No problem. I'm here every week. Oh,
Uh,
wait.
Today we're going to talk about the current affairs in social injustice, and we'll be going over the 2020 election. Cody, what else? What other input do you have?
Uh, the winners in life think constantly in terms of I can, I will, and I am. That's kind of what I've been doing here recently.
That's what you've been doing.
Yeah, so I've just been thinking in those terms.
That's pretty dope, man. I think we'll get back to all the other stuff I mentioned later, but for now, what have you been up to?
A couple days ago, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I sealed my driveway.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Uh, I don't know if you can trust containers, like the directions on containers anymore. Because it said it would cover 300 square feet or 400 square feet, and my
Mm-hmm.
driveway is like 315 square feet. I was like, okay, one's enough. And after 4 trips to Home Depot, it took 4 containers. So
Damn.
it dried up today, and I just drove on it for the first time like an hour ago. Um, it's quite an adventure. Also, when you're sealing your driveway, it gives a reason for every neighbor to come out and go, well, it's looking good. We usually get someone to do ours. We've never done it ourselves. I have headphones in too, and I'm like covered. Like I never see it's like almost like a tar substance, and you don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
And I'm like taking my headphones out, trying to avoid the touching, getting tar in my ears and on my headphones. Like, yeah, definitely, just so I can say that and put them back in. Um, yeah, that's terrible to say that, but I'm just getting real tired of my neighbors. The ones behind us, like my dog's barking at their dog for like 2 seconds, and my girlfriend said that one lady was real dramatic and over the top. She was like petting her dog, going, "That's right, we don't bark. We don't bark. Good job not barking." Just real petty and passive aggressive. And um, when you have a Ring Amazon alarm system, you also are in a group of people all around you, so you can keep each other up to date with, like, hey, my car got robbed last night, um, or got broken into. But for some reason, it's just a lot of old people. Every noise they hear, they think it's a gunshot, and you can tell it's old people just by the way they type, because it'll be like gunshots dot 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 question mark question mark question mark, and somebody like, oh no, I think he's just getting his roof nailed, like from a nail gun or something. Actually, here I can open the app. You want me to read something to you? Because I guarantee there's going to be something on there like that. A lot of people break into cars around here though.
Oh yeah.
Just walk up to car doors and oh, here it is. There are reports of shooting or person reportedly shot and injured.
I like how this could be an 80-year-old
Helicopters reached.
person, or this could be a Ryan's report.
Here it is. I heard 8 gunshots, and 45 seconds later, 9 more near Carly Drive. I guarantee it wasn't. These are all just people thinking gunshots. Oh, here we go. Someone's car broken into, toolboxes and backpacked blower taken off work trailer. Oh, here's more people going through cars. Someone had their trailer hitch stolen. Who the hell steals a trailer hitch? Someone else breaking into cars. And it's just like every time I see this, just motivation for me to get the fuck out to the country. Out in the middle of nowhere. Even Sunbury's getting a little too busy for my liking. Too many people out there, man. So what have you been up to, man?
Not a whole lot. As you know, I had those 2 weeks off, So the last week, or at least the last few days of that, pretty much just cleaning around here. So almost no gaming, unfortunately. And then I went back to work Sunday. So been working normal hours and not doing a whole lot else. Played a little bit of games, watched a little bit of stuff, which we can talk about later, but not a whole lot for me.
Dang man, maybe you should start sealing some driveways.
um, I did tease you before we went live though about a McDonald's story. It's just a really quick dumb one. I know usually my stories are elaborate, but so almost every morning before work, I go to McDonald's. I get myself a nice at about 10 a.m. I get myself a chicken McGriddle, a hash brown, and a large Dr Pepper. Very healthy start to every morning. Um, and
I love the McGriddles though.
oh yeah, they're fucking great. Um, but the drive-through sometimes is either no line or it's a humongous line. So when it's a long line, I usually go in because even though the drive-through line is long, for some reason I still give it to you faster inside. So I went inside. This happened today actually, and I went inside, and as I was leaving, this guy was leaving. I held the door open for him, and that's relevant. It's gonna sound like I'm just talking about how nice I'm being and bragging, but that's relevant to what happens in a minute because this manager that always seems kind of weird. I think he's the GM there. Hopefully, they don't find a way to find his podcast and get spit all over my food every time. Uh, but he was talking to this girl there, and like, ah, man, I've seen a lot of double D's today. And the girl, I'm sorry? Door Dashers. And I was like, double D's takes longer to say than Door Dashers. And I feel like he was just doing that to be able to, are you dumb? Of course. Why would you think like that?
Double D's. Also, that's like I think it's hits.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That, yeah, I feel like he was setting up just to be that guy to be like, oh, okay, you're trying to make it disgusting, even though everybody's going to fucking think that when you say double D's, and yeah, it's more inconvenient than saying Door Dashers, and that's the dude I held open the door for the Door Dash, the double D, and like I said, just a really dumb story, but I thought you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, that was great. I was kind of excited. My blood started boiling. I thought it was gonna be like some um like the guy was pissed that he held the door open for him or something.
No, I'm always not worried about that, but I'm fucking waiting for that dumb shit now with everything going on.
It's
Um,
funny you mentioned that though. I was leaving Home Depot with that for the 100th time, picking up more sealer, and for some reason, twice I was stopped in the store. People were like, "Oh, you're doing it yourself?" I was like, "Is this something like people just regularly pay someone to do?" Or I was like, okay, "Yeah, doing it myself." And then on the way out, a guy passed me as I was going out the exit. Initially, I was like, "Okay, this is the exit. You're going to the entrance. All right, we rolled out." But I didn't think anything of it, and then he kind of mumbled something at me, and I thought it was like, "Oh, you're doing it yourself again," or "How's it going?" or something like that. So I was just like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" And then I realized right after I said that he was passive aggressively saying I was going out an entrance, and I turn around and it blatantly says right there on the doors that it's an exit. But at that point, he's too far away for me to even
uh
respond.
huh.
So, or I could look like a complete psycho running back in the store to be like, "Actually, that's an exit, not an entrance." Um, yeah, that was something I thought about for way too long. But yeah, so I thought it was one of those stories. I hate those kind of stories.
Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. I've heard a lot of passive aggressiveness with all the mask and everything, but surprisingly, I haven't heard anything about um, doors like that. The worst I've heard is when, and they're not really rude, just kind of annoying, is when people are, oh no, you don't got to hold it for me. And they're not like being polite. They're doing that because they don't want to be too close to you. I'm like, oh, Jesus. But, I mean, that's just more annoying, not really rude or anything. Um, you said you had a McDonald's story?
Oh yeah, I went there and do you ever do they ever get like not rude, but just real assertive and like boom, 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 boom. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, it was real bad on Morse Road today. I was like, I'm gonna go try the. Do you know how stupid I felt pulling up to a window, going, "Yeah, I went to Travis Scott,"
Oh my gosh.
up to the little computer. Uh, the best part too is I made Renee order when she was driving, so she ordered, and she was like, "What do you want?" And I felt like a little child. I was like, I'll take the spicy chicken nuggets and the Travis Scott," and then her just going, yes, can I have the spicy chicken? What sauce?
Yeah.
And then like they throw you off for the fact that they talk to you like that. It actually like slows it down a little bit for me. So like, oh shit, I don't even know. Like, what is sauce? Um, and then she was like, in the Travis Scott. I was like, God, this is so stupid, but I love it at the same time. So I had the spicy chicken nuggets and the Travis Scott.
And you had to
I
tell
didn't
him
have
through the Xbox Series S, huh?
Yep. And I couldn't even. I didn't try the Chips Ahoy thing, their other new thing. I heard that's actually not that good.
What is that, McFlurry or?
Yeah,
Uh-oh. Yeah,
I'm
seems
not
like an
really into
odd
Chips
combo.
Ahoy.
I gotcha. Um, well, anything else random you want to talk about or get into?
Yeah, yeah. Spicy chicken nuggets will give you some nasty heartburn. I think they're that hot, man. But
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, I don't know what happened to them. Did they give you a spicy sauce to put on them too?
Might have been the bag. I didn't eat it or look. I think I told you I didn't even really like them. Yeah, they were way too spicy, and I just didn't think it really tasted good. Like the Wendy's spicy nuggets, a lot of people say those are too spicy, and I don't even like spicy stuff. And I think those are really good. To me, it tastes kind of more mild. But McDonald's is just entirely too spicy, and I don't even think the taste is that good. Wendy's, I think, kind of changes the taste of it, even though it's spicy. And McDonald's does this weird thing. You said you didn't think it was too spicy. It's probably the same thing all of us did. They were Danielle and Peter were trying it, and oh, it was a real spicy. And I've been into it, and I was like, that's not that bad. No, I'll wait till no jokes. I was like, there, I'll wait till you actually chew all of it and swallow it. And I was like, okay. And I did, and you start breathing, and you can feel like 10 times worse than when you're eating it. And I was like, oh, yep, these are real spicy. I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, I didn't think they were that bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just there's some really bad heartburn from them for some reason. It's there's very few things that give me heartburn like this, and oddly enough, it's like orange juice, the little Cheetos, and now the spicy chicken nuggets
Hmm.
give me some heartburn. But I didn't think they're that spicy, and I don't know. Some of them were like, wow, that's a little bit more spicy than the last one, and they seem a little inconsistent with the spiciness. I couldn't really tell.
You,
Um,
you know it'd be good?
what's that? The Travis Scott?
No, since they're changing, crazy with their nuggets now. It's the first time I've had new nuggets since the start of nuggets, I think. They just do a Butterfinger nugget.
Ooh, didn't they have like a buttermilk
Those are chicken strips or
chicken
selects,
strips? Yeah,
whatever.
those are delicious. But that whatever the fuck you just said sounds absolutely terrible. Ew.
No, I don't think that sounds good. I just hate Butterfingers, and I was like, that sounds like a fucking awful combination, even with me liking Butterfingers.
Because I think of the way that nasty shit compacts itself in your teeth.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool to get like chicken bits stuck in your teeth throughout the day. Give you a meal for later on in the day.
Yeah, I felt absolutely stupid, especially because I felt like they said it to me 3 times. The when Renee's like, yeah, we'll take the Travis Scott. She's like, so you guys want the Travis Scott? You want barbecue sauce for your Travis Scott? And then we go up to the first window, and he's like, okay, so you guys had the Travis Scott? And I'm like, oh my god, what are we doing? What is society? We go pick up our food. He's like, all right, here's your Travis Scott. I'm like, wow, what is happening?
Yeah, we need like a Taylor Swift or something.
Taylor Swift, you'd be all about that, man.
Yeah, imagine all the disgusting jokes you can make about that.
What if it was a burger though? Like the Travis Scott's a burger.
I would order it just as some dumb joke or something, but yeah, that would suck because it'd just be a tease. I'll just give it to one of you guys.
Oh, you wouldn't even try it?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh.
um,
Yeah, it was. That wasn't a bad sandwich. The food's okay. I mean, it's just fucking fast food. You really can't expect much.
I hear you. Anything else random?
No, that's it, man.
Do you want to lead with our the list we've been talking about for what, probably a month and a half now?
Yeah, let's do it, buddy.
For the not necessarily underrated games, but we talked before, either underrated or underappreciated. Because I feel like almost all of mine are underappreciated games. Like the reviews scored pretty well, but I feel like they didn't actually get a lot of attention or sell very well, depending on what they are. I don't know about yours though.
Yeah. Let me look up this one because that's a good point. Because this game reviewed a little too high for what I thought. But yeah, so you want me to start with my first game?
Yeah, we're doing 10 first, or do you have an order?
Yeah, let's do 10. Let's do it.
Okay, go for it.
Number 10 for me is the Teen Titans video game.
Yeah, I've never played that.
Uh, 2006. It reviewed at, looks like 63 on the GameCube and Xbox, and 56 on PS2. These are all Metacritic, and it's I think it was THQ, and who developed that? Teen Titans 2006. I think it was. Let's see video. But yeah, so this game was Behavior Interactive. Are they even around anymore?
I don't know. I
yeah.
know.
What in the hell? What have they worked on here? This can't be the right list.
Whoops.
Oh, you know what they made or helped make? Naughty Bear.
Oh, that's probably what I've heard from then.
Looks like they changed names to Behavior Interactive, and they've actually worked on the Halo Wars Definitive Edition, Fallout Shelter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're still around. They're still doing stuff. This game was weird. I had a friend that was way too obsessed with always getting the new video games, and sometimes he couldn't do sleepovers just because there's a new game coming out, and he wanted to immediately go in the morning to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
So one of his stipulations for having a sleepover was that my mom would have to get up in the morning, and we'd all have to drive to the store to pick up his pre-order. And we played it, and it's a great game. Unfortunately, the prices of it have exploded. I want to buy it on Xbox. It's the best version. It was getting close to like $150, $200 there for a while. It bounced back down to $120. I have it on PS2, but I want the Xbox version.
Mm-hmm.
I actually almost bought it yesterday because I found it for like $110. But I said no. I said no. Thank you. But yeah, that's my number 10.
Okay. So before I start my list, I left off a whole handful of games because I didn't want my entire list to be the Wii U. But I just thought I'd cover the Wii U as a whole because I feel like that's one of the most underrated systems. And yeah, and I feel like literally half my list would be Wii U games. And it's funny because almost every top Switch game is a Wii U game, and everybody talks about how the Wii U was terrible because it had no games and it was terrible. And now the Switch is some masterpiece, even though almost every top game is a Wii U game. And people are just like, this thing's amazing. And I'm like, did you guys miss out on this entire generation of Nintendo? And it's even more funny because everybody's making fun of the next generation, including myself, but I'm doing it with the Switch. They're all making fun of it for not having next-gen games and porting everything over. but for some reason Nintendo's gotten completely off the hook with this. There's I only think of like a couple games that weren't ported over
Hmm.
that are like top games on the Switch, which is fucking nuts. Especially what are we 3 years into the Switch now, so you can't even use the argument like it's the beginning of the generation or something.
Yeah, and the games that haven't been brought over to the Switch, I've noticed have really jumped in prices.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a Wario game that I don't even know why I really picked it up for the Wii U, but I'm glad I did. It's kind of jumped up in value a lot. Um, yeah, I think too. Even I don't really like the upgrades to the Switch because I feel like with the Switch, with the controller, some of those games are gonna be impossible to have like a 1-1 experience.
Yeah.
I think the Switch is gonna be the Sega Saturn. It's gonna be incredibly sought after in the future.
The Switch or the Wii U?
I'm sorry, the Wii U. I
That's what I was,
apologize.
no, that's what I was
The Wii
guessing you
U.
meant. Yeah.
And a lot of the game collectors too on these Facebook groups I'm part of, like guys with huge collections, are like, guys, buy Wii U stuff now because it's at some point it's gonna explode.
Yeah. Um, but I can get into my first one. So, or my number 10, and it is Resistance 3. And I think you could do a series as a whole, but I think that one gets the least attention. But it reviewed Metacritic 87 for um, or 83 for critics and 78 for user. So, like I said, that's not a bad, well, that's a very good review score. But I feel like if you hear people talk about it, they talk about how it's the worst in the series. And I feel like Resistance as a whole is already very underappreciated. And I think it's weird because I think it's easily the best first person shooter exclusive that Sony's ever had. And I feel like they created such a cool universe and then just fucking abandoned it, which is even more weird now that they own Insomniac.
Yeah, it's the most highly regarded one too. Like you said, this is out of the three, right? Out of the trilogy.
Um, from what I've heard, most people actually think that's the worst one from what I normally hear.
Really? That first one's ass, man. I gotta be honest with you.
Really don't like it.
I mean, it's okay. It is what it is, and it's definitely a product of its time.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Um, but God, that game was just ugly.
No, it definitely was. For me, I think what did it was I loved the co op. Me and my friend did it. But I also just thought the world and creating a new universe like that seemed so massive and was clearly trying to compete against Halo was so cool to me. The Sony's kind of just try and go for it.
Yeah.
But what's your number 9?
Number 9. Remember when all video game videos had that?
Yeah.
Uh, do you remember Dark Rift on the N64?
I don't think so. Let me look it up.
Bet if you look up the art, you'd remember this. While Casey's looking that up, Dark Rift. It does not have a score on Metacritic. It came out in '97. This was probably my first game. Well, my first game I really played a bunch on the N64. It came with my N64. My parents bought my N60. I think I mentioned it before. Bought an N64 at a flea market for me in the late '90s, and it came with a bunch of games, and this game was in there. It was just a standard fighting game, and the only fighting games I really had Jesus had played were arcade stuff at the movie theater, like Tekken and Mortal Kombat. So it's nice to have some version of that at home. I'm sure it is complete ass. I've only played it. Wikipedia, EGM gave it a 5.6 out of 10. GameSpot gave it a 5. IGN gave it a 5.4. Next Generation gave it a 3 out of 5. So it's definitely reviewed terribly. The company is Kronos Digital Entertainment. they went out of business not soon after. The only thing that really sticks out to me, which kind of makes me feel bad for this company that they went out, because I'm actually going back and rebuying a lot of their. They only made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 6 games that I've purchased.
Mm-hmm.
Fear Effect is the main one, so I feel like there was a lot of talent, a lot of stuff going on there. Just never really did much. But something that you might know they did is they did animation for Spider-Man on Fox Kids.
Oh, really?
Spider-Man show, yeah.
Okay.
Um, but Eidos, do you remember that? You know, they made the Tomb Raider games.
Yeah, is it Eidos? Is that?
Eidos.
No, you're
Sorry.
good. I was making sure that we're on the same page.
Um, I think they had teamed up with them for the Fear Effect, and I think from what I'm reading online, there's not much information. Eidos discontinued funding and caused them to go out of business. I'm not even sure if they're owned by Eidos or what happened,
Mm-hmm.
because Dark Rift was definitely, I think, N64. I think Nintendo paid some money for it to get it exclusive, and it came out for the PC, but then I think it was like a month delay. It was a timed exclusive. But yeah, it's just a dumb game that I'm sure it's terrible to go back and play.
Yeah, I looked it up. I don't recognize it actually.
Really?
Yeah, it looks. Well, I don't know which one came out first. I was gonna say it looks like a complete ripoff of Killer Instinct, which I love Killer Instinct. So maybe that's the reason. Maybe it was like something where it was one or the other. I know I didn't care. I would have played both, but maybe it was that kind of thing why I never noticed it because I always played Killer Instinct.
Oh, for sure, man. Like, I just had a lot of cheap games, and this
Yeah,
is definitely budget titles. And if I would have had any of those other fighting games on the N64, I'm sure I would have liked them a lot more.
I hear you.
It's a weird one, man. But for some reason, I just get stuck on it and play it for a long time. I always got my ass handed to me, like third or fourth guy in.
Yeah, I hear you. Um, my number 9 is you're saying all these games are not reviewed well, so I feel like isn't really underrated list, just more underappreciated. A couple of these are a little lower, but Bioshock 2, which Metacritic per critic score was 8.8 and users 8.1, so again, very good scores.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about multiple times that game is looked at as like a demon child in the trilogy, if you want to call it that, because it's not really a full trilogy. And that's because it wasn't the original creator and it wasn't Ken Levine making it. And I feel maybe you've noticed lately it seems like it's doing the Spider-Man thing or the Sunshine thing where people suddenly love it now and aren't having that opinion about it, which is odd because I've always talked to you about how I think that game's underrated. And I feel
Yeah,
like,
me too.
yeah, I definitely think there is issues with it. I don't think the story is strong as either of the other ones by far, but I think the world is just as cool. I think the gameplay is easily better than the first Bioshock, and visuals are a little better. The graphics, just because it was a little newer, but even that's not that much better. But the gameplay was easily much improved, and the gameplay I don't think was bad in Bioshock. So that'd be my number 9. I think like I said, way too many people overlooked it, and it seems like it's doing one of those 360 things, not an Xbox reference, but a 360 thing where that's for some reason changing now. I don't know what's changing that, but it seems like the opinion is kind of morphing on that for some reason.
Yeah, I still need to go back and play that, man. I never played that one.
Yeah, I think you'd like it a lot. Kind of, without spoiling anything, fills a lot into making Rapture more of a world and showing the other side of Andrew Ryan. So it's really cool.
I'll have to check it out, man. I have it.
Yeah, and then you still haven't played Infinite, right?
Nope.
That that's a fucking beast right there. One of the best games I ever played.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh,
That's
easily.
good.
Yeah, 'cause I think it's a Bioshock's still my favorite one because of that story and Um, the story in that game, like I said, is one of the best stories I experienced in any game or any media. And as much as I love games, I say all the time, I think the stories in a lot of them are kind of laughable and could do much better than they are doing. And I feel like Bioshock totally turned that on its head. And I think that's one of the things that works against Bioshock 2 is that you already know the world and you know what to expect. So I feel like you just instantly already lose that like the wow factor of Bioshock. But I think that's why Infinite kind of takes the best of both worlds because I think the story is very strong, a lot stronger than 2, and the gameplay is better than 2. And obviously the visuals and the graphics are much better because it was on the next generation at that point, or wasn't it? Or no, it was at the tail end of that generation, but still a long period of time between them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That was like a year before the new consoles.
yeah, that's why it threw me off for a second. But like I said, the story I don't think is definitely as good as the first one, even though I think overall it is the best game if I'm judging fairly. But that first one just was so impactful, and I think it's hard to recreate.
Hello?
You there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
That scared me for a second.
No, you're good. You can just go to yours. I don't know if anything get cut off.
All right, so this is number 9, number 8.
Yeah. 8.
Bio Freaks for the N64.
Speaking of bio, I don't think I
You
know
remember
this
this
one
one?
either. I'm gonna look
Bet
it
you
up
look it
here.
up. I said about the last one, but you may remember it. There's another late '90s game that I had because these might have been games I got because they were cheap, or they might have been with the N64 when we bought it. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think because these games came out. Um, I might have picked these up after I got my N64. I'm trying to remember for Dark Rift and uh, Biofreaks. But Biofreaks is another fighting game. It feels almost completely different though. They had like some weird um, dodging and flying and long range attacks.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, it was almost like Mortal Kombat mixed with Smash Bros. But I'm more than certain if I would have had Smash Bros, I would have liked it more. It's just my parents were incredibly cheap and just bought me cheap games. Thanks,
Yeah.
mom and dad. Um, like I definitely never had any of the Mario games or any of that shit on the N64. It was just shovelware like this. It was
Mm-hmm.
made by Midway Games. Developer was Sapphire. It looks like mainly got a 6 yeah, be about a 6 out of 10 on most uh, like magazines and shit like that. The companies went defunct in 2007. Trying to find some stuff. They made looks like a lot of shovelware. Holy shit! I always joke that there's a Facebook page I strongly recommend called "Games of Divorced Kids" or something like that, and it's just all these budget titles that
Yeah.
are parents were like, "Oh, why would you spend $60 on a game when you could get this one over here for $20?" It's like, "Oh, because that one's Xena Warrior Princess and that one's Mario," and I'm quite certain which one I would have liked more. But yeah, so Biofreaks is another one of those. They had guns, more of a dodging. I kind of recommend looking it up. It's a weird one, but it felt like Mortal Kombat meets Smash Bros.
I recognize the cover on this one, but it's another one I definitely didn't play.
Yeah, I just like the character. Like I was really into at this time. Um, damn it, Todd McFarlane toys, and
Mm-hmm.
they look like some of the stuff he was making in toys.
I gotcha.
And do you want to know what Freak stands for?
I don't think so after seeing that cover, but go for it.
So BioFreaks stands for biological flying robotic enhancement armored coding synthenoids. Basically, it's in the future. It has a really cool intro too. In the future, the government's falling apart, and all these companies, I think, compete to take over the world
Mm-hmm.
with a tournament of your best biofreaks. Yeah. Looks like Game Rankings has it at a 68%. So it's a little reviewed better than Dark Rift. The best part
Hmm.
about these games too is they're incredibly cheap. So I guess the games I'm nostalgic for, thanks mom and dad, are still pretty cheap.
Um, I'm on my number 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think you said you played this. If not, you definitely should. The what was it? Probably 2000 and let me look it up. I should put dates on here like you have.
Oh gosh, what if it's the same one as mine?
I'd be surprised, but you might have it. Um, it is. Why is it not coming up here? There we go. Oh, I was 1 year off. 2005 horror shooter Fear for the 360 is what I played it on, but I think it was on everything current at that time. And again, reviewed very well at 8.8 for critics and 8.3 for users. But and it ended up being a trilogy. There's two to follow. I think all of them are worth playing, but this game worked so well because it had amazing shooting mechanics at the time, but also combined horror almost perfectly. And I think shooters have a really hard time doing that because of pacing and because shooters are so chaotic and fast. So I feel like you don't see that very often, especially first person shooters. And that's why I definitely recommend this one more than the other ones, even though I like the whole trilogy because they definitely go more into a shooter for the second two. The shooting mechanics and the gameplay is better in the next two, I can admit. But I just love the blend of horror and shooting in this one so much, and something that, like I said, I don't think you see um, affected very enough or done very effectively very often. So definitely Fear for me. The campaign I feel like was decently long too, if I remember right. Like 12 hours for that time was a big deal, and then the multiplayer was super fun. I don't know if you ever played Fear. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I've played all of them.
Oh really?
Yeah, great games.
Did you ever play the multiplayer? I thought it was so much fun.
Uh, I feel like I did, but I'm trying to think back. Andrew, my friend, good friend Andrew, that's like some of his favorite shooters.
Oh really?
I don't know if I did or not, man. If I did, it was like a couple games here and there, but nothing too crazy. I'm thinking I did, but then I'm trying to think it was like some private lobbies with
Oh,
friends.
I mean it was nothing groundbreaking, and as I say now, it probably wouldn't hold up, and now it's probably non-existent anyways. But even at the time, I don't think it did anything groundbreaking. I think like I said, the shooting mechanics were just so solid, and the gameplay is so much fun that it was cool to have, especially because that wasn't a time when there was a first-person shooter like every single week, and it was kind of more unique at the time, especially with the blend of horror, which is something else I left off of Bioshock 2 actually,
Mm-hmm.
is which I know a lot of people hate on it and haven't changed their minds now, is the multiplayer in Bioshock 2 I thought was fucking amazing. And it actually did do different stuff because you had the really solid shooting mechanics of Bioshock 2, but then you had all the plasmids it could use, which completely changed shooters. And then you could turn all the plasmids into traps and everything, so you could set up traps around the levels. And I was very confused why I got so much hate. I get that Bioshock 1 was very story focused and
Mm-hmm.
like I went on and on. That's like my favorite thing about it. But I felt like it didn't take anything away from the story, and I know they did it to try and get people to keep the game because that was a big deal at the time. Everybody's trading in games, so companies were doing whatever they could to get people to keep them. But it did not feel forced or like they took no time to make it. It was so well done, and I'm bummed that it was. I was gonna say I was bummed that it didn't catch on more, but it was popular at the time. But like any shooter, unless it's like the top three, like Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever, or the newer ones now, obviously. Unless you're one of those, even if you're successful for like a month or two, and that's about your limit.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. No, those are great games, and some of my early introductions into horror games because I wasn't such a huge fan of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I watched I like watching my friends play. That same kid I was talking about earlier, Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
He was crazy into the Resident Evil games, and I used to like enjoy going over to his house and playing them with him, especially when Resident Evil 4 came out and just watching him play.
Uh-huh.
But there was something about where I couldn't get into him. But Fear was my favorite genre of FPS mixed with horror, and sometimes you'd be shooting for a long time and in that mindset of a FPS, and then
Yeah.
what was that girl's name? Alma. She would just randomly come out and you're like, oh shit, this is
Yeah, I was gonna say
actually
Elma, but
fun.
it might be Alma.
I can't remember either. Um, but did you know that there's I think last December it came out, was Fans of Fear. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on this. It's called Trepang 2. It's on Steam, and so far it's just a demo, but it's fans trying to make a modern version of Fear.
Hmm.
But you can download the demo for free on Steam.
I didn't. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, man, I mean it's free. You might as well just try it out.
Yeah.
But it's really, really cool mechanics. They've added to it, and I don't know, it looks sick. Like if this game actually comes out, because it's almost a year now, and I mean they add stuff here and there, but um, it looks, God, it looks so great. The gore. Oh, I wish you could see some of the like gifs and stuff that come out of there. What they've made, and the fact that it's just fans of Fear.
No, that'd be cool because I think if you played it now, the horror would still hold up, and I think you could see why it was cool at the time. But I feel like it would seem kind of outdated and a little clunky now that you lose a lot of what was there when it first came out.
Most definitely.
So we can move on to your number 7 if you're ready.
Yeah, man. Okay, my number 7. It is. I feel like this game's on your list. That's why I was afraid you had the same number as me.
Mm-hmm.
Brute Force.
Oh, I actually don't have that on here, but I forgot about. I knew I was gonna do that where I forget about games, so no, that definitely would be on here.
Yeah, man. It was like I told you before. It's the first game I stayed up all night playing. Let's see. It came out in 2003 on the original Xbox, and I think a big reason people bought it was because of the Halo 2 demo.
Yeah.
And it was made by Digital Anvil, and they're pretty famous. Chris Roberts. They made the um, damn it, what is that? Like I was like, oh, it's so famous. They made a lot of stuff. I can't remember. This is highly annoying. Wing Commander. I'm pretty sure that's the guy that made Wing
Oh,
Commander.
okay.
Um, go here and look real quick before I start talking out of my ass. But basically, you're a bounty hunter. It's a weird one. Definitely was a budget. I don't know. Would you say it's a B game? I know it's a first party game, but it almost felt like an amazing B title.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it was definitely AAA as far as them trying to push in production, but yeah, I think it turned out something a little less than that, even though I
Yeah.
love it.
Yes. He was a designer, director, writer, programmer, tester of, or lead designer, producer, and programmer of Wing Commander. Besides Wing Commander, and he was the writer. Oh God, I love this game too. This might have been one I would have put on here. But do you remember? Oh, this is not the game I was thinking of. Never mind. But yeah, it looks like he's kind of dropped out though, man. From looking at his Wikipedia page, he's not done much.
Really.
And once you like cash in with the Wing Commander shit, though, I think you're pretty set.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brute Force. I think it has a rating of like, looks like 6 out of 10s. Looks like the highest one was IGN at 8.1, OXM, which you can't trust, and Team Xbox, which you also can't trust. Team Xbox gave it a 96 out of 100. OXM gave it an 80. EGM gave it which EGM I think is probably one you could trust the most. From what I remember or what I know about them, they were pretty not I hate don't want to say that like punk rock, the outskirts of the industry, right? It was like the cool edgy magazine.
I thought that was Nintendo Power.
they gave it a 6, almost a 7 out of 10. Um, I think its biggest issue was the hype.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I played it a year after it came out, and or did I? I can't remember now. Man, Jesus, that's mind blowing to think that shit is 17 years ago now.
And that's disgusting to think about, actually.
An infant at that time was an adult now. Yeah.
I told you my story about getting that game, right? Because I got a day one.
Yes, I think I do remember you. Is there any brute force left? That guy?
Yeah, I was at Best Buy and I was so excited and got a day one. This guy came sprinting in, and I don't want to exaggerate, but definitely, I was going to say sweating everywhere, but he's definitely like out of breath and like pacing. Oh, God, you have brute force. Is that the last one? Is there any left? I was like, oh, yeah, there's a shelf back there of them. Oh, Jesus, thank you. And he went running back there, which then it was actually like a reason to pre-order. I pre-ordered it, and it was valid that it might run out. It's not like now where it's just you're kind of guaranteed a copy of anything that comes out. Yeah. So it made sense. It's just funny, especially after what it turned into and such a inside joke about how bad it is now. Even though I love it, it's just majority of people hated it, and probably that guy included, especially with how excited he was. He's probably, what the fuck? Why did I just run through the store almost crying for this dumbass game?
Did you ever play the multiplayer?
It was just co-op, right? Not like, or was it?
I was going to ask you about that because I'm reading the Wikipedia page. I don't remember this at all. It says the non-co-op multiplayer feature consists of choosing one squad and playing different game modes against other players. Different squads are unlocked as you complete the campaign.
Was it still AI?
No, it's just playing against other players.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't even have Xbox Live at that time, so that's probably the reason.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, that's weird. There's a whole other world that I didn't get experience, and it was probably very funny to hear people's reactions to going online for that game.
Yep, so that is my number 7.
All right. This is the first one that not even reviewed poorly, but definitely worse than the other ones. And I think this is probably one of the higher reviews, but it wasn't on Metacritic, so I just pulled up the first one I could. And where is it? I'm lying to you. That is actually, this one reviews even worse. This works. That's my number 6 I was looking at. But my number 7 is Duke Nukem Forever for the Xbox 360, PS3, and PC at the time, which the Metacritic was 5.4 and user was 5.8. So not terrible, but definitely mediocre. And I think a lot of places gave it a lot worse than mediocre, if I remember right. I feel like there's a lot of 2s and 3s for that game, which... Yeah, okay, I didn't know if I was making that up.
I'm pretty sure. I think that's another one. It's just
the hype.
The hype.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if you just played that game and judge it for what it was so much fun, and it's exactly what you would expect a modern Duke Nukem game at that time to be. But I feel like games have changed so much that people judged it and compared it, kind of like what people do with movies, put up like ridiculous action movies up against like Oscar movies, and these are 2 different categories. Can't really judge them the same. Duke Nukem shouldn't be judged the same. Obviously it should as far as like its mechanics and gameplay and everything, but its plot line and how ridiculous it is, you can't really compare to shit like Halo and massive games like that are not even going for the same kind of thing. And I think it was just I said exactly what you'd expect personally on Duke Nukem, but that was a game that was in development for 10 years, and there's people that it's just one of the biggest franchises in gaming at that point. So there's so much hype behind it. So I get it, but I think it was still unfair. And I think if you judge it for what it was, you could really enjoy it.
Most definitely, man. My biggest issue with that game is I try to play on the hardest difficulty, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure if like I grabbed the wrong weapons or my game has a checkpoint in a really bad spot, but I'm stuck near the end of the game, and it went from being this like, oh, this is funny, and it just pissed me off so bad that I stopped playing it, and I need to go back and lower the difficulty and try the area again. But yeah, I it was humorous, it was funny, and I think you're right that you can't compare it to some of the crazy games that are coming out at the time. But I think let me check my list real quick because there's a game on here that yeah, I have it on here. Um, it was just in the development cycle for way too long, and people just thought it was going to come out and be the next, I don't know, Halo or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you want me to do my next one?
I'm ready.
All right, the next one I discovered because of barcades. I don't know how crazy I want to get into this and explain why I like it so much, but it is the Die Hard arcade game.
I don't think I've ever played it.
Oh man, it's you need to make sure you play two players. Don't play single player.
Okay.
It's a pretty ridiculous, campy story. Some really funny characters in it. The main guy is pretty funny, and then the girl you're trying to rescue. It's really ridiculous. Definitely one of those Japanese games. I think the voice acting is great. I'm not a huge beat 'em up fan, but this is probably my favorite beat 'em up. Uh, it's of course two player. It's a co-op game. I strongly recommend if you can play the arcade version. I think there's only like one or two places here in Columbus that I've seen it at.
I was gonna ask,
Really,
where'd you play yours?
uh, at Old North Arcade.
Oh, okay.
You can get it on the PS1 and Sega Saturn, and I think the Saturn's the best version, but um, I don't know how much I want to spoil this because, you matter of fact, I'm going to keep this whole portion out because I think it's what there's something that happens in it that makes it so great. Um, I just because you haven't played it, probably people listening haven't played it,
Mm-hmm.
but the ending, it was awkward, it was weird, and it had me feeling things I've never felt when playing a video game before. Like the way, oh god, there's no way to describe it without absolutely spoiling it.
Yeah,
I
I know
just
what you mean.
it's maybe even just watch like a walkthrough or something. Uh, I don't know how else to, I don't know how else to describe it unless you're playing the arcade game with one of your friends. I think that's the best way to play. If you can find the arcade version, go in there and play with one of your friends.
Well, we'll have to do that
Um,
then, as long as it's still there.
yeah, buddy, I'm down because it's great. Like I said, eventually I want to get on the Saturn.
Yeah.
Um, let's go venture over to price charting and see what that's going for. Jesus.
Is it a short game, or you just were able to play it for a long time?
Oh, it's relatively short. I bet you'd be in 30 minutes,
Oh, really?
30,
Okay.
40 minutes. I think I can't remember now, but yeah.
You said that's probably your favorite beat 'em up. You're not a big fan of beat 'em up. Some of my favorites. I know. See if you played them and if you think this is better, or if you like it more personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Castle Crashers, Scott Pilgrim, um, Ninja
Played either one?
Turtles. You haven't played? No. What about
No.
little older Ninja Turtles or the Simpsons games?
Yes, I've played both of those because of arcades.
Oh, that's not how you played them.
Um, yeah, I don't. Turtles one's okay, but I feel like there's so much going on. It gets a little too ridiculous.
Yeah, those two, um, the later two I mentioned, were games I actually played in not real arcades, but like bowling alleys or whatever, side arcades, and played them when I was younger, so I feel like that's why I have more of attachment to those two.
I feel you. So I looked it up. It's only available on the Sega Saturn.
Okay.
How much do you think this is going for?
Um, I don't look at this kind of stuff like you do, so I could be way off. But if I was guessing, just crazy guess, we'll say 160.
120.
Oh, not terribly often.
So pre-COVID, and this is why Corona can suck a dick because it causes shit to explode. Pre-COVID, so April of 2020,
Mm-hmm.
$83. Corona, $120. It's getting really fucking annoying. But yeah, it's one of those games. If I do see it, I'm definitely gonna snag it. But
Yeah.
as far as I know, this is the only way to play it at home without having like a MAME. So, man, Jesus, I want to get this game. But yeah, the ending, man, comes out of nowhere. And what the fuck? Really?
Yeah, I'm curious what to find time we can go.
All right. So what's your number 5?
It'd be 6 for me, right?
Oh, 6. Sorry.
No, you're good. Just want to make sure I was on the right path. Um, so my number 6, where do we have it here, is South Park 64, which this game isn't on Metacritic because it didn't get enough reviews or they just didn't add it. But IGN had it at 6.2, which is definitely on the higher end, and even that is kind of like mediocre to good. And a lot of people have it on like their worst games of all time list. I'm sure you've seen that, which is so confusing to me because if you play it now, you can instantly tell what's wrong with it, and it seems outdated. But I think there's only a handful of 64 games that aren't like that. I don't think it's because it was a bad game. I think it's because 64 games, they're just learning 3D at that time. And almost, like I said, there's very select 64 games that hold up and seem good now, not even just like a product of its time kind of thing. It's just, I feel like it's not just like I said that at the time it was good. It's that
Mm-hmm.
if games didn't evolve like that it would still be good. It's just they're learning so much. I think it really was good at the time.
Yeah, that was I rented those ones, the South Park games a lot.
That was one of our most played games, and there was definitely dumb stuff that helped us being kids, like being able to pee on the snowballs and they get more powerful. So there's definitely dumb shit that helped us, and I'm sure it swayed me a little. But like I said, I feel like people do judge it too harshly and just look how bad it is now. Because I feel like if you look at even like the top games like GoldenEye, if you try and play that shit now, it's fucking terrible.
Um, Jesus, the Suck It Turkeys. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
I was using my. I don't remember ever getting too far. I'm trying to think back now. I think I ever got too far in that game, but
Oh really?
I love South Park so much, man, that any form of it was great.
Yeah, that was definitely one we beat far too many times.
um, all right. My my number 5.
Yep.
Um, mine's gonna be. This is actually pretty highly regarded, but I feel like nobody played this.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Republic Commando.
Oh, that was a weird one for me because I wanted to play it and thought it looked fucking awesome, but for some reason I never did. And I feel like that'd be another one of those things that you could play it now and you could see why it'd be cool, but it would not hold up. So I really hoping for like a modernized version of that because I feel like I
Be
missed out.
awesome. Be awesome. Basically, it was like Halo meets or Doom. Felt more like Doom because it almost had like some horror elements to
Mm-hmm.
it. Very dark theme, and it's like a Delta Squad. It's like an elite um, unit of clone troopers, So the annoying part about it is because you said you would like a remaster of it, but
Mm-hmm.
when Disney purchased Star Wars, it was one of the things they threw out and is considered it's no longer considered canon. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and I think honestly, I think it's because it's so dark. And I don't think we'd ever see anything like that, even remotely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it had basically like high eights from a lot of the websites. I think the lowest one I see is a 5 out of 10 by Edge magazine.
Okay.
But that one, the next one's EGM at like 7.3.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's one of those games too that I know is going to be rare in the future. I was so obsessed with this game too. I purchased the soundtrack on CD. I think it's one of the better soundtracks for a video game
Really?
ever created. Yeah, and they had an action figure line of the Delta. I think it's Delta. Yeah, but it's relatively cheap. It's like I think you can probably pick it up $25 or less. I think pre-owned, so I definitely recommend it. Even I think you can even pick it up on Steam still. I don't know with what Disney's changed, but yeah, I really like that game.
Yeah, maybe I should even go back and play it now. I just, like I said, I feel like it's gonna be one of those games that I could tell how cool it would be at the time, but that I'd just lose so much playing it now.
Also, if you ever find the soundtrack on CD, I'd probably kiss you and pay you a decent amount of money because for some reason I got rid of my copy or lost my copy,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't even find versions or copies of it on eBay.
Oh, really?
It kind of pisses me off because it's like it doesn't exist. But I know for a fact I had it and would play it in the car too. My mom, that's how I knew I had good parents because my mom would play it because you could listen to it. You just imagine like playing that in the car. She had to be so annoyed. But God damn it, that soundtrack's so good. But yeah, so that's my favorite. It's probably my favorite Star Wars game. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it's got to be.
Really? I'd have to.
Oh, so good, man.
I have to think about that. I know at the time it was definitely Pod Racer, but I'm sure that if I was actually judging like critically, it couldn't be Pod Racer. That's another game that I still haven't played the fucking remake remaster thing of, and I want to do that. Um, but my number 5 is Cameo, which is a action adventure platformer. I feel like the best way to describe it. You never played Cameo, did you? The launch 360 game.
No, I picture it though in my mind.
It was made by Rare. It was one
Oh,
of
like Tan Girl.
yeah, and I don't know. That and Perfect Dark, I believe, are Perfect Dark Zero are the first Rare games from Microsoft because I don't know if anything would have came out, but those actually came out on the same day, November 22nd, with the release of the Xbox 360, which is a day before my birthday. Um,
Oh.
I remember at the time I was like, "What? I get all this day before my birthday?" But I think it is super underrated. It reviewed well at the Metacritic is 7.9 and 8.0. So it reviewed well, but a lot of people looking back on it trash it and act like it wasn't good, which I do. I think even now with not being too old, it was only relative 2005 is relatively not too old, but I think games have changed so much that the mechanics do seem a little weird and wonky. But I think if you're judging for when it came out, I thought it was fucking awesome. And I feel like everybody with Rare makes fun of Microsoft, and I've even talked about this in a podcast about how they kind of just change Rare into a different studio and don't let them make Rare games anymore. But I feel like I ignore some games, and this is one of them. I feel like this is definitely feels like a Rare game and has all the qualities of a Rare game. And I think it's weird that everybody does overlook it, like I said, including myself sometimes, even with me loving it. because everybody does talk about how they just completely took Rare away from, or Microsoft took Rare away from itself, but then they ignore games I think are very much Rare. And I was looking at the Wikipedia. There's some crazy shit I did not know. Maybe you did. I know you love this kind of stuff. It says Cameo is known for its prolonged development cycle, which spawned 4 Nintendo and Microsoft consoles. It was conceived as a Pokemon-style game of capturing and nurturing monsters, but traded its lighthearted Nintendo overtones for darker themes, more beveling of Xbox audiences. This is so ridiculous. When Microsoft acquired the developer, then it goes on to talk about how they changed it into more of an elfish game and what they did with it. But I think it's weird that that's considered a darker game. I guess for Rare it is, but if you look at that game, it's not dark at all.
It looks super child. Like,
Yeah.
it almost came off bad. But definitely looks like a game a kid could easily play.
Oh yeah, and I mean I was 15 at that time, and I beat it and got almost all the achievements in it. But the cool thing was every time you took over, you started out as that girl, but then you could kind of funny. I never thought about kind of pre-Mario Odyssey. You would morph into these different creatures, and they have their abilities and be able to do everything they can and steal other elements. And so, kind of like every time you took a different character, it kind of changed the genre of the game, even though it was still an action platformer. And that's one of my favorite genres, and definitely my favorite genre as a kid is an action platformer. And like I said, I feel like that's something that's missing for the most part now. So it's kind of cool, but sad looking back on that.
Yeah, now this is starting to come back. I remember that mechanic of switching between people.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah, I got my 360 pretty late after it came out, but I remember I had one of my friends said his parents had drove like 45 minutes an hour away
Mm-hmm.
and they had a Best Buy there, and they had these like little brochures they gave out about the 360.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
I bought it off of him with my lunch money. It's just so I could stare at and read over and over again about all these games. The launch titles.
Yeah, I know. Me and my brother saved up to get a 360 as the first system that we bought and got on day one. And I know we got Cameo and Perfect Dark Zero. I can't remember if we got anything else, but that was Perfect Dark Zero was fun for what it was, but it was not that great. But Cameo was amazing. Oh, I also would have been Madden 06, and I don't know if it's known to be one of the worst ones, but for me, that's the worst Madden I've ever played because they ported it from the Xbox, and the Xbox version was really good. The mechanics were like best they've been in Madden's history at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And this trailer for Madden 06 on 360 fucking sold you. The graphics were like next gen as can be, and even getting the game, the graphics almost lived up to that point, which is crazy because that stuff never does. But I think the reason they were able to get it so high up, because I think it probably looked better than probably the next 5 years of Madden, which is saying something because that's 5 years later and Madden keeps looking worse. But I think the reason they did is because it went so all in on the visuals that they didn't even fucking bother with the mechanics because the mechanics couldn't even match the Xbox version. So I think they just poured all their resources in and be like, oh shit, we can make this game look crazy and everybody's going to buy it, which it worked. But then I was just really depressed.
That's great. Do you want me to go over the launch titles?
Yeah, you can do that.
I've been wanting to make a YouTube video on this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going back and buying a lot of them and going through them just because of my obsession with that little brochure. But it's Amped 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then my favorite launch title was Call of Duty 2.
Mm-hmm.
Condemned Criminal Origins, which probably is like, God, that's super high on people's like some of the greatest games of horror games. FIFA Soccer 06, Gun, Cameo, Elements of Power, Madden NFL 06, Casey's favorite. NBA 2K6, NBA Live 06. Jesus, how many do you need of those? Need for Speed Most Wanted. NHL 2K6, Perfect Dark Zero, Peter Jackson's King Kong, Project Gotham Racing 3, Quake 4, Ridge Racer 6, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06, and Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. The ones that I definitely would have wanted day one was Call of Duty 2 and Peter Jackson's King Kong. Those are the two I really was just like, those are the ones I want.
So after you read it off, I started putting more of my memory together. So when we bought Perfect Dark Zero day one,
Uh-huh.
and then my brother bought Condemned and Need for Speed, so we had those. Cameo, I actually got for Christmas, because I remember that now that you say that, because I got Perfect Dark because I love Rare because they were from Nintendo, and I was like, oh, Perfect Dark, I used to love the old Perfect Dark, and I got it, and I was like, this is fun, but not what it should be, so now I'm bummed I didn't get Cameo, so I get that for Christmas, and I know
Gotcha.
right around launch, we obviously wanted to play everything we could, especially because it's not like now where there's just infinite games. And that's why it's so cool when the launch happened, because it seemed like the next generation games, not just more gaming nonsense. But so we also went on a running spree. We rented um, Gun, Call of Duty. Um, what else? There's two other ones you said that we rented, but I can't remember what they are now.
Sports games, Amps maybe, Amp 3,
No,
Quake 4.
Quake was one, yeah.
I
Oh,
think
King
I forget.
Kong, you just said it. That was
King
the other
Kong.
one. Yeah, because we fucking fell in love with achievements immediately, and that was one of those games that you could beat and get 1,000 points in. And
Yeah.
the story was actually cool. It seemed well done. So
Yeah, that's another like a survival horror game that shouldn't have been a survival horror game that people
yeah,
like.
yeah, I'm glad I didn't buy because after that there was fucking nothing to do with it, and there wasn't like achievement racing because I was just done with it at that point. But it was definitely fun to play. And then yeah, I got Madden with Cameo for Christmas, so I was super excited. But one of them let me down brutally.
Damn. I know like my runner-ups was of course uh definitely Gun. I'm trying to man, this is a lot of raking my mind, but yeah, Gun and probably Need for Speed. Just because man, those games are so good. Um, the any of those arcadey racers I played. I
Yeah,
can't remember if it was Need for Speed or Ridge Racers. Ridge Racer 6.
Ridge
And then you had,
Racer.
you know what's crazy? It might even be PGR 3. I don't know. One of the car games on there. These are just stare at the pictures in the brochure.
Oh,
The
there's
screen
you're the
grabs.
reason they get all car porny at E3 then.
But that's crazy thing, man. That thing launched with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 or 8 sports games. It launched with 3 car racing games. Wow, that is see this lineup, man. I need to make that YouTube video because this is just there's some really good games here. Like I'm not even really seeing much here that besides the couple that you've mentioned. Um, I can't remember if American Wasteland is highly regarded.
I don't think it is. I know we liked it, but I think that's when people started jumping off Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, man, I need to. God, it makes me excited. That's another thing I can never find on eBay is one of those brochures.
Yeah,
I would definitely be fine spending $15 on one of those brochures. I'd love to have it again.
yeah,
All right, sorry. Go ahead. Which is it? Me next?
yeah. You're number 4.
Oh shit. Okay, this is a game that I made you play. Warhammer 40K Space Marine.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, especially because it's like it's a Sega game. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of upsetting because Warhammer is a pretty serious universe, and this game's kind of more humorous.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But it's like Gears of War light. I don't know how else to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Just chopping down endless hordes of orcs. Let's see. It came out in 2011. Reviews are like a 7 out of 10, almost across the board. 7 out of 10 from everybody. And of course, there's publishers THQ, RIP. I think this actually was something THQ was working on, but then Sega released it after THQ went out of business, I believe. I can't remember. I'd have to look at that. This could be one of the last THQ games. Let's see. Damn, I wish that there's a list of THQ games. But yeah, it's got to be pretty close to the end, if not the end. I don't know. How would you describe it? It's like Gears of War light, like the
Yeah.
dialogue.
No, it's a fair summary.
Let's see. We don't want THQ Nordic. Let's see. What do you think the last THQ game was?
Oh God, I have no idea.
And speaking of THQ, I grew up on THQ games, fucking budget titles. Played a little too much of them. The last THQ game. Are you kidding me? It's not that exciting. It's Jeopardy.
That's pretty funny though. Their last game was Jeopardy, and they were in Jeopardy.
Not to keep exposing all my ideas for videos here, but my lazy ass is never going to make them. I would like to go in depth on UDraw. People say that's why they
Oh
went out
yeah.
of business.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of cool to go back on that. Because they invested way too much money in that shit. But yeah, THQ, man, Jesus, every game is like movie related. Yep, so that is my number 4. Warhammer 40k Space Marines.
All right, my number 4 reviewed extremely well. 9.0 by critics and 8.0 by users. But I feel like not just that it's underappreciated, I feel like it's completely overlooked because it's Donkey Kong 64, and I feel like it's completely overlooked because Mario 64. And I know it's going to be criminal to pretty much anybody that might hear this, but I think Donkey Kong 64 is infinitely better than Mario 64. And I think it's just so much fucking fun. It came out in 1999, and it was developed by Rare and published by Nintendo, obviously, because they owned Rare. And this, of course, you need the expansion pack for, and that's when they created the expansion pack was with Donkey Kong 64. The little weird red and black thing you had to open up your 64 and put in, which is kind of funny. We're talking about how systems are kind of just evolving without coming out now, or like without new ones coming out, but Nintendo was doing it on a 64. But I don't know, there's just something so fucking special about Donkey Kong 64, and I was only 9 when I played it, so the worst part is I never actually beat it, but I played it so much, and I had to be right at the end. Like, I did almost everything, but I never actually finished it, which makes me sad, because obviously that file is long gone, and like I said, even something that high quality and reviewed that well, I think would probably be almost unplayable right now. That's why I think it's weird how harsh people judge games like South Park, because even though it might have been more low budget, I think even the highest games, majority of them don't hold up now.
Yeah.
I know Mario 64 does, which is weird because, like I said, it is very similar to Donkey Kong, and I think Donkey Kong's better. I think Mario does hold up for some odd reason. Maybe it just gets so much more simplified. Donkey Kong had so much going on in it, but I don't know. It's 64 and 360 are my 2 favorite consoles of all time, so that's why there's so much similarity here.
I can feel you on that. That's definitely one I spent a lot of time on besides PS2. Do you want me to go to my next one?
Yep, number 3.
Number 3, speaking of PS2, Warhammer 40K Fire Warrior. This came out in, 2003. October 2003, so I was 11 years old. This is my first introduction to Warhammer 40K, so that's probably why I like it so much. It's about, I think at the time it was a pretty new race. It's one of the first in a long time, a new race being added to Warhammer 40K. And I know people weren't a huge fan of the race because the purpose of 40K, I'm guessing, is that nobody's good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's based around I think it's pronounced Tau. And they're almost good, I guess. And I don't think people like that. But I never understood the hate the game got. But then I realized most of the hate was for the PC version. And that it looks like the PC version is like a 5 or a 6. Whereas the PS2 version was right around a 7 or an 8. And the PS2 version is received, this is from Wikipedia, the PS2 version was actually better received by critics and fans all around. So I don't know if it's just a better build or what,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It was just my introduction to 40K, and I think it has one of the coolest arts cover-wise. I don't know if do you remember what it looks like, or you ever seen it?
Probably have seen it because I know the series, but I don't know
Yeah,
if I...
yeah. If you guys are whoever's listening to this, go to Google Images and just type in Warhammer 40K Fire Warrior PS2. It has one of the most metal covers ever, which is why I grabbed this game. It's definitely very like Halo-esque mission. Basically, you're rescuing your leader from a prison, and you're boarding ships, and you're fighting against the Empire, or the, oh gosh, well, I forget what the main main group in forehead. Jesus, I'm getting too tired. Jesus, what is it called? Imperium of Man.
Oh, yeah.
So, you're fighting against them. Imperium of Man is definitely my favorite now, but because of this game, I like the Tau a lot. And this is also published by THQ and made by Kuju. Kuju Entertainment, I think they call it, or just Kuju. And they're actually still around. And Eidos, Square Enix Limited, looks like they own them now. I don't know what the hell they're working on now. Just a lot of shit. Looks like they did the 2016 Ultimate Alliance. They worked on a Guitar Hero Live. And just not too much after that. Oh gosh, they also made this great game. I don't know if you remember this, Rain of Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have added that if I would have thought of that. That's one I would have. I love that movie, and definitely played the game. Looks like they did Geometry War Galaxies. Like, I'm just trying to pull stuff here that looks familiar. Oh, they did. Did they work on House of the Dead Overkill, or did they actually make that? I hate how Wikipedia doesn't really specify too much. They're kind of like, hey, they worked on this game, so we're gonna add it to their list of stuff. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm sure the game looks like complete ass. I did see that it got re-released on PC, on GOG, and I'm hoping with the re-release they fix some of those issues people complained about. I'm sure. Gosh, I'm afraid to look this up because I do not own this game. I'm really concerned what price charting has it at. Okay, PS2, that's not too bad. Looks like it's like 10 to 15 bucks.
Oh, yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I definitely like to get that. Man, but that cover alone is the reason I grabbed it off the store shelf.
Yeah, I looked it up. The cover looked really cool. I don't remember ever actually seeing that, though.
Oh, man, just so awesome. Standing on those Imperium Man skulls,
Yeah.
the tank burning in the background. Just so awesome. The fire warrior, the metal flames all around it.
Yeah.
Which honestly, it'd be kind of cool, interesting to go back and look. Was this like the first Halo clone that came out on a Sony console?
Might be if it's that old.
Because this would be pre-Killzone.
I was about to ask. Killzone's one thing I could think of.
All right, man. You go to your next one.
My next one, my number 3, is Mod Nation Racers for PS3. Reviewed at 8.2 on Critic and 8.4 per user. So another well-reviewed one, but one that I feel like got abandoned almost immediately and completely overlooked from the beginning. Because if you're not Mario Kart and you're a kart racer, you're already pretty much done for. Which is a shame. Even myself owning this game, I didn't play it enough, and I wish I would have done it like more people over and stuff. Because I feel like we would have gotten so into it, and I feel like even now we still could. The graphics wouldn't be as good, but I think everything else would still hold up and would be so much fun to play a different kart racer. But the thing that made it so different than Mario Kart is that this they started after they did Little Big Planet. I don't know if you remember at E3, they started a whole initiative where they were going to make a whole series of play, create, and share games. And this was the next one in line with Little Big Planet. So it was a kart racer with super solid mechanics, like right up there with Mario Kart, which is usually unmatched for the most part. And then combined it with a crazy creation tool that was so well done. Again, I'm not the best creator. Even with me, I could make some simple tracks that were pretty fun. But the shit you could find that people made, which all of it was free because it was user created, which was a lot more rare at that time because what did this come out? Probably like 2007? That's a guess. Let's see. So Mod Nation Racers on PS3, 2010. So later than I thought, but still, there wasn't, unless you're on PC, there wasn't a lot of that going on. And you could find literally anything, like anything that was licensed, like if you want a Marvel track or a knockoff Mario Kart track or whatever. But then there was all kinds of crazy, unique ones that people created that weren't based off of things. And then it was it's crazy to think about skins and stuff in games now, because people make literally just endless skins that looked identical to any character you wanted, and you could just download them for free. And I'll go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's crazy.
Yeah, and it sucks because I feel the play, create, share thing was such a cool idea, and if Sony was stuck with it, like I said, everything kind of moved in that direction. So I feel like they jumped off that ship a little too fast. I feel like they did one other game that followed that formula besides like Little Big Planet sequels and whatnot. Can't remember what it was, but I feel like they would have stuck with that. They could have had a fucking huge idea on their hand with what games turned into.
Yeah, that does sound familiar. That a third game. You're talking about Media Molecule, right?
They made Little Big Planet, but they didn't make Mod Nation Racers. It was Sony that was like an overall Sony thing that they were doing.
Oh, okay.
You might be thinking of Tearaway if you're trying to think of.
Yeah, I think that's where I was going.
That's another great underrated game. I could even have that on here. It used every Vita feature. So unique and so cool.
I wonder how it plays on the PS4, that re-release.
I was wondering because I heard they adapted to it. So like, because it literally took advantage of every feature on the Vita, which is something almost no game did. But like you could put your finger on the touchpad in the back and your finger looked like poking through the screen. Or like there's a sun that's always following you around in the level and your face will be in it because of the camera on the front. I heard they adapted it to the controller so you could touch the touchpad in the PS4 controller, but it seems a lot less intuitive, and that's what it just works so well and felt so natural on the Vita, and usually that stuff's so gimmicky that it takes you out of it and doesn't pull you into the game more. But that definitely did. But yeah, I was curious about the PS4 version.
Yeah, I know it wasn't reviewed that well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't remember exactly like numbers. Were you thinking of maybe iPads or PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale?
No, definitely not PlayStation All Stars. They didn't have any of the trade or share stuff. I don't think it's iPad, but it's possible.
Oh, there's one on this list too that I kind of want. I've always wanted to check out. It's Fat Princess.
Oh, that game was fucking awesome. I don't know how it works now, if there's a way to play it, if you can play with AI, but yeah, that game was so cool. I think you would love it, especially. If there's a way to play it, I would still even play it with you and do AI or whatever.
Yeah, man. It looks cool.
Um,
Right.
yeah, just if you want to go your next one, you're welcome to.
This is the one I was referring to earlier about long development cycle. I remember even before it came out, like freaking out, like, oh my god, this game's been in, you know, um, development for 10 years. Is Too Human.
Oh yeah.
I definitely thought it was going to be huge, but I really enjoyed it. It came out in 2008, so that means it was in development since '98. Made by Silicon Knights. They are now defunct, but they made such um, nothing too crazy I'm seeing here besides Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain. Uh, I guess the only thing that really stick out to me for this, I feel kind of bad because I feel like they've made some really good ones. Um, Eternal Darkness
Yeah.
on the GameCube, which I recently just purchased.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing that and it just immediately pulled me in,
Really?
and I want to go back and finish it because I was really enjoying it. And then the Twin Snakes on the GameCube. But yeah, man, Too Human. I just did never did anything, and I know they were planning a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Wikipedia has they had a Silent Hill game they were working on, Too Human 2, Too Human 3, Eternal Darkness 2, and then just like a handful of some other random games. Uh, let's see, I'm trying to find some like prolific things. In 2007, they sued Epic Games for failure to provide a working game engine. Uh, Caused them to experience considerable losses. The suit alleged Epic Games was sabotaging Unreal Engine 3 licensees. Trying to figure out exactly why they went out.
Um.
Destroy all game code drive for Unreal Engine 3. Do you know how?
Well, I was gonna say one thing. Do you think you could fill this for a minute? I just realized my phone's gonna die, and I want to grab a charger, make sure, and then I can come back and continue the
Oh yeah,
two
definitely.
human talk. All right,
Let's do it.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Looks like I'm trying to figure out here why they would be suing Epic Games. Epic Games defeated Silicon Knights, and won a countersuit for 4.445 million on the grounds of copyright infringement, misappropriation of trade secrets, and breach of contract. Uh, Something about copyrighted codes and stuff, man. This is as a result. On November 7, 2012, Silicon Knights was directed by the court to destroy all game code derived from Unreal Engine 3. All information from licensees restricted areas of Epic's Unreal Engine documentation website. Oh, and then it says Epic Games had to have some way to look at all of their servers. This is dirty, man. This will be another good YouTube video here. The studio was instructed to recall and destroy all unsold retails. Oh man, I didn't know this. In addition, the studio was instructed to recall and destroy all unsold retail copies of games
I'm back.
built with Unreal Engine 3 codes. Dude, listen to this crazy shit. So they lost to Epic
Mm-hmm.
in this lawsuit and had to pay Epic $4.5 million, give Epic access to their servers to make sure that they had none of their code on there. And then they were instructed to recall all games and destroy them that included the Unreal Engine 3 code, including Two Human, X-Men Destiny, The Sandman, The Box, Ritualist, and Siren the Maelstrom.
Yeah, I was gonna
The
say.
latter three titles were never released.
I didn't know exactly what happened with them. I knew there was legal issues with Epic. I know I've looked into myself, so I don't know if it's people just hating on him or they have personal issues with him. But I know a lot of the games media say the creator, Dennis Dyack, went crazy, and they say he's always super nice, and they just went fucking nuts. So I don't know how much of that is true, but because I haven't looked into myself. And then, yeah, I know they had a shitload of stuff planned. Like you said, they initially announced Two Human as a trilogy, so I'm sure having that much, not they had all that in production, but probably the second one and other games they're working on, I'm sure they have a lot of money pouring into this shit already.
Yeah, man. I just looked him up. He was the directed Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, and Eternal Darkness. Man, that is crazy. This probably means I'm glad I bought Eternal Darkness. I'm sure that will never get re-released.
Yeah.
I wonder what engine they used on that. Man. That's wild. This is making I'm sure there's 1,000 YouTube videos on this already, though.
Oh, I bet there is, but yeah, it'd be cool to have a different perspective.
Wow. He said in 2006, absolutely yes to a possible sequel to Eternal Darkness. So in December 2012, Nintendo extended their ownership of Eternal Darkness trademark for the 5th time, indicating the company still has interest in the property. Any chances for a sequel under Silicon Knights was terminated on May 9, 2013 after Silicon Knights filed for bankruptcy, closed its office, and sold its office equipment. In the summer of 2020, after years of neglect and no word of any plans for future installments, the game's trademark was declared abandoned by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. However, it appears Nintendo has renewed the game's trademark as of July 31st, 2020, with mention of video game cartridges differing from previous trademarks. So, cartridges makes me think Switch.
Yeah.
So maybe this will get re-released on Switch.
Or they could throw a curveball and do another 3DS game.
All right, buddy. But yeah, Two Human, it was a crazy Norse sci-fi story. I really enjoyed it, and it was one of those games that I bought day one and didn't quite understand the hate it was getting, and I really liked it.
That was a game that I played a demo on and really enjoyed, and that was another thing at that time is that demos were a lot more common in games, but there wasn't nearly as many games coming out, so anytime there's a demo, you're just like, oh shit, I gotta play that. So everybody's always playing the same stuff, which was cool. But yeah, I remember really liking it, but I never got the full game. I did buy it recently. I don't even know if the servers are still up, so I'd be down to play if you want sometime, because I know that was always a more of a co-op focused game.
Yeah, man, definitely. I can't believe they recalled copies though. I'm surprised they didn't cause the game to shoot up in value.
Yeah, I think I don't even know much about that, but I think that's not a very valued game, right?
No, yeah, it looks like Price Dragon's got it at $5 complete.
So I thought, yeah. Because I feel like even without me being like that, I was like, oh shit, I should buy one, keep it sealed, because I saw them all over the place. But I was like, oh, this seems pretty common.
Yeah.
I'm
sure they didn't recall as many, especially they filed bankruptcy so quick.
Yeah.
There was nobody to even be recalling them.
All right, should I get my number 2?
Let's do it, buddy.
So obviously I have 2 left. You might be surprised, or not be able to guess one. You won't really be surprised, but I think one you could definitely guess if you think. Do you want to try and guess one of them?
And it's just based on the fact that it wasn't like that popular.
Based off of it, it was very underappreciated, and also that I talk about it a lot because of that. I mentioned it quite a few times on a podcast as well, but even with just us talking personally.
Overlord?
No, I did like that game, but that was a. I always have issues with games like that and Pikmin. I love them, but when you have too many and you have starting to crowd control and everything, I fucking suck at them. So I never finish any of those games, even though I enjoy them. I can tell you if you don't.
Mentioned it on the podcast before.
I think it's actually. I know I can go think back or click or anything, but I think it's where I got the idea of doing this list because I was talking about a certain game, and then we were like, we could do this. No, that I did think about putting it on here, but like I said, I do feel like people talk so highly of it, even though I do think not enough people play it. I feel like that kind of makes sense for the kind of game it is.
Man of Medan?
No.
Damn, man. What console?
360 is what I played it on. I know I came.
Oh, duh. I know this. Oh god, don't tell me, okay?
Okay.
Because it's got a tabletop game that's named after it too.
Mhm.
Well, it was before the game.
Yeah.
But, damn it! I pictured the elves flying around in those ridiculous wingsuits with the little, not wingsuits, but gliders.
Yeah.
Oh man, just go ahead and tell me, because I know the game. I just can't think of the title.
Shadowrun.
Shadowrun. Thank you.
And it was a critic review of 6.6, user of 7.5, so actually a pretty big differential there on the user score. And like I said, this is where I came up with this idea. Not that it's unique or anything, but just for us to do it. And where I realized I had to make clear that most of mine were going to be underappreciated, not underrated. And Shadowrun's the game that made me realize that in general, because I told you how I always just get so pissed. I'm like, it's so underrated. And everybody would point out how like IGN gave it a 7 or something. And if you paid attention to their review, how they talked about how little content there was, about how there was no campaign, which was very rare at the time, which is funny now because that's rare if you have a campaign. But so all the reviews were perfectly fair. I feel like I just didn't know how to describe things because I was just so pissed because I enjoyed it. But I was like, well, I guess, yeah, if you're judging it for like breaking down and being critical to a game, these reviews are completely fair. But I feel like also people are missing out on a fucking fantastic game. But it was, like I said, no campaign, even though I think a campaign in this world would be fucking awesome. But it was like probably, I would say like a steampunk is probably the best way to describe it. Steampunk world with fantasy mixed in. So you had like elves and dwarves and trolls, and it was a first-person shooter. And it was on 360 and Windows Vista. It was the first cross-platform game for those two working together. And they showed it off at E3, and I was just fucking immediately hooked. And I loved it so much.
Yeah, that's. I had a friend that was way too obsessed with the game. I never really got it, man. I know even right around the time I first met you, you even went back and we played it again on the 360. It's just kind of crazy to think the servers were still up then.
Yeah, they still are even now, and you can still find games. Not on Vista. That shut down a long time ago, but 360 is still up.
Oh, man, the fact that they've never thought about doing something with that. And I remember a few years ago, it was like they announced it, and I think we were watching the press conference together, and then we quickly discovered it was the older version.
Yeah.
Kind of more of a role-playing game.
Which is funny because, like I said, everybody got pissed at the first-person shooter because they knew it as that, so it's kind of like a full circle thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? This isn't Shadowrun. Everybody, no, this is Shadowrun.
Yep.
All right, so that takes your number one, right?
Number one. Besides having N64 in the late 90s, I also had a PC. And I spent probably way more time on the PC than I did the N64, and mainly too because my dad was buying games a lot for our PC for him to play as well, and I would play it like I think we've talked about before, me playing House of the Dead on my PC and all kinds of stuff. But one of my favorite games on my PC was a game called Slave Zero. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It came out in '99, and I played it. God, just a little too much, and not. It was the same way of playing the original GTA's on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
I never did what you're supposed to do in the games. I just went around killing
Yeah.
people. You were a massive robot in this like futuristic city, and you could stomp on people. Basically, it's like Godzilla, but you're a robot. And man, for a game that I don't know, one of those like some of the first game I ever got obsessed with was this one. And looking at some of these reviews, it's like a 4.3. IGN gave it a 3.2. My first like knowledge of this as a bad game was Lazy Game Reviews. I went back and played it. I was like, oh, for nostalgia purposes, I'll watch this. And he absolutely shit all over it. And that's when I first realized this game was not regarded too highly. But it's also on the Dreamcast, which is probably maybe one of the better ways to play it. It looks like it got re-released on GOG.com. GOG.com is doing the Lord's work saving some of these games. Because there is no dumb-ass reason for this game to be back besides some of the idiots. Because, God, man, how old would I have been when I played this? What came out in November 99, so I'd have been 6, 7. Oh, man. I remember the little screams, too, when you walk all over them, stomp, blow up their cars and shit. Yeah, man, I maybe go watch some videos on this.
Okay.
There's some really good, a lot of YouTube videos on it. And the fact that it's available on GOG and they brought it over to Steam. I don't know, but still it's mind blowing. Why would someone want to preserve this? But yeah, I don't know. That's my number one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I never heard of it.
Yeah, mainly one of the reasons it was kind of my number one was like, holy fuck, this game was not. I don't know. It was, and I don't know how old that. Let's look how old that video is. It was kind of like life changing. Like people didn't like that game, but then I remember, man, I was a fucking idiot. I was like 6 or 7, so anything was cool to me.
Oh, I definitely had that happen. I remember as a kid, I played Mega Man 64 like nonstop. Now this game is fucking amazing. They made Mega Man modern in 3D, and then I figured out, this game is unplayable and should not have came out. And I was like, oh, I had a lot of fun with it. But then I thought back, and even as a kid, I was like, yeah, I did just wander around and kind of do nothing. That's probably because there wasn't anything to do because they didn't design the game right.
Dude, that's exactly what Slave Zero was for me too. But it's funny, Slave Zero and the first 2 original GTA's, like I consider them to be like right on par, and the GTA is considered a masterpiece, where Slave Zero is considered like absolute shit.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. I just fucking wander around and yeah. But cool little game. If you look up the cover, you might remember the cover. I got something for guys taking a knee with flames. If you look at the cover, it's kind of similar to Fire Warrior.
Checking out now. Yeah, no, I don't recognize that either.
Yeah, it's one of those games, man. I just spent way too fucking much of time on.
No, I hear
I
you.
consider picking it for the Dreamcast. It's only $13, $14 complete.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Looks like it's actually gone down during Corona.
Look at that twist.
All right, man. What's your number one?
So
You think I could guess it?
I didn't think so, and I thought you would be like, oh, okay. But you actually fucking referenced it during this podcast.
Oh, did I?
So that's definitely a clue, but I know we talked about a lot of games, so now you might just overthink it.
Probably. Was it the one I said, like, oh, if I'd remember this, I'd have put it down?
No.
What game was I talking about?
You were talking about Shadowrun. I think.
Really?
Now I might be making up. See, now I'm overthinking it.
Oh, you're good, man. Go ahead, tell me.
Oh, wait, no, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about Mod Nation Racers.
Oh, shit. So I mentioned it. Oh, the camera. iCam? Or no, Smash Bros. PlayStation knockoff.
Exactly. PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. Released November 20th, 2012. They just love putting out everything I love right before my birthdays. It's great. Which this was one of the first cross-buy games, so you got on PS4 and Vita, and both versions were great. And I fucking love this game. It reviewed, another one that reviewed well, at 7.4 critics, 7.3 for users. And I feel like this fell into the Mario Kart trap as well, that it was clearly a knockoff of Smash Bros. And a lot of PlayStation fans tried to argue that, but there's no question it was. But I always thought it was weird that they tried to make it like it wasn't, because I don't think the developer or publisher tried to hide that. And I feel like it makes complete sense to try and be a competitor to Smash Bros. Because almost nothing does. Almost nothing tries to compete with it. Even fighting games like Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, and the ones we mentioned are not trying to fight with or battle with Smash Bros. It's kind of like a different category almost. So I thought it made complete sense for somebody to try and go after that. And then, even though it was clearly a ripoff, I thought they'd add an interesting twist of their own to make it different. Like instead of having, I don't think there was a Smash Ball at this time, but even if there was, they did a different thing where they had a tiered system. So you could use I think they call it Ultimate, but it was like a final attack. But the cool thing was you could use it at level 1, 2, or 3. So it's kind of like a strategic thing where you could save it up, and if you saved it all the way to 3, then you're like getting these crazy ass animations with like automatic kills everywhere. Or if you were good enough, you could use a 1, and if you knew how to do it right, you could get a kill like every time, or you could build it up to a 2. So I thought they did stuff to make it their own. And then also, Sony doesn't have nearly as many mascots to pull from like Nintendo does, which I think hurt them. But then they also did a cool thing of trying to get well-known characters from other games, which everybody made fun of. But I thought it was a cool idea since they obviously had less characters to work with. But I just thought the gameplay was so solid, and I feel like there's never going to be another All-Star game. I hope there is, especially because Sony has more mascots to pull from now, obviously, just by default from being around longer. But it was so cool, and this is another one, even more so, like Mod Nation Racers, that I say this, but then even to myself, I never really kind of present it as a game when everybody's over. We had a few times where we all played it, and every time everybody thought it was fun, but I just never made it a game that was always on when people were over, which this is another game I think would still work completely with if we played it today.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Like I said, I have it on PS3 and on the Vita, so I'm definitely down for that.
Yeah, I feel like now you said that. I think I said PS4 and Vita cross-buy, but it was obviously PS3. I think I said PS4 at the time. No, we should definitely do that. I think it's a perfect party game. And I think it's actually, it's kind of like Street Fighter in the way, I'm not a Street Fighter guy, but Street Fighter in the way that I think Smash Bros. Does this, but I think All-Stars does it better, to where you can get really skilled and be over the top, but you can also kind of just jump in there and have fun. And I think Battle Royale does that even better with the like the tiered system I was talking about, because if you know how to master that, you can be like Street Fighter with like the crazy ass combos. But if you're just like nobody that just button mash and don't really know how to play, I feel like you can use those just to save up. So I feel like they do a good combination of, if you want to master it, you can get crazy at it, but you also aren't just fucking done for if you haven't played or you don't play very often.
Yeah.
It's also funny that everybody made fun of the name so much, which is an awful name, but it's funny because who would have thought multiple years later that Battle Royale would have been the biggest thing in the world? I know this isn't a Battle Royale game. It's just so funny that, I don't know if you remember, people fucking destroyed the name, and now Battle Royale is like the hottest thing in the world.
Yeah. That is weird to think about.
Especially because I'm sure Sony's like, damn it, we had a Battle Royale game, but it wasn't actually Battle Royale, and we should have done something different. But I think that's the end of the list. That went on longer than I thought, but I was okay with it. I think there's a lot of good talking points, and I actually wouldn't be against some point doing another one of those lists, because even as we were talking, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot that. I think it'd be cool to have another list of just 10 different games at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you want, we can go on with the regular show, but I know you already said you're tired. Are we going to be able to make it through this?
Yeah, man.
Okay, because I know there's a lot of news and shit this week. I'm sure you have a lot of pickups.
Actually, I figured I'd wait next week to do the pickups because there's a bunch. I acquired some more from Family Video today.
Boy, any in the other section?
What's that?
Any in the other section at Family Video?
Oh my god, I cleared them out. I said, give me all of them. I'm here for snatch chat.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what it's called as well. I couldn't. But that'll take us into the normal show now. We're probably like an hour and a half in. So we always start with corrections, questions, and feedback. I don't have any this week. Do you?
Nope.
All right. So if you want to send any, you can, as always, do to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. And then we'll go into news. You got any?
Sure. Well, before I get too crazy into the conspiracies here, of course, I'm sure you got lots on this, but Xbox buying Bethesda.
Oh yeah, I got a lot about that. So it's up to you if you want to.
God.
Or we can.
That put a smile on my face, man. Cause I think Bethesda was getting concerned, man, because they don't have much coming out, and I don't get how how are they making money right now?
Yeah.
And it looked like they're getting ready. This is a perfect time to buy a company like Bethesda because they don't have shit coming out, so they need cash flow. And I don't know, it just made me very excited.
Do you want me to go into that? Because I'm sure that's going to be a big topic, so I want to talk over your news.
Sure, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right, so we can read the article first, and then we can go over some shit. So this is from Xbox Wire. Yeah, so it says, announced by head of Xbox Phil Spencer in an Xbox Wire post today, Microsoft will acquire ZeniMax Media for $7.5 billion. That sounds like a fake number. 3 times the $2.5 billion. What kind of fucking writing is this? It paid for Mojang and Minecraft in 2014, and the
time for 2.5.
Yeah, what did I say?
Oh, 3.5. I think you said.
Oh, I might mixed up because that's what it's worded weird. It says ZeniMax Media for $7.5 billion, 3 times the $2.5 billion it paid for. It is fucking weird wording for Mojang and Minecraft in 2014. And the formal purchase is expected to close in the second half of 2021. The deal includes, it'll list every studio that's acquired with that, so we don't need to go over all of that. And then a lot has come out since then trying kind of clarifying what exactly it means, but I was thinking if you want, because I know we had our own thoughts if we want to get into some of those before the clarifications, and then we can see what lines up with that. If you want to do that, we can.
Yeah, I'll let you take the first swing at it.
Okay, so there's a lot of different angles. First off, when I saw it, I thought it was fucking clickbait again because I saw it just randomly on Twitter. You know, the fuck, there's no way. And I saw it was from Phil Spencer, and I was like, oh my god. It was a truly holy shit moment, which doesn't really happen in gaming that much. One of the more recent thoughts I had, but the most depressing thought by far, was I was so sad that this announcement wasn't at E3 because all of us freaking out over a fucking Twitter post, and I was picturing like when we all are together, like, holy shit, when they like try and diss the other competition, managing them walking on stage and fucking bought Bethesda. That would be. We freaked out when they named, I don't know, what was the studios they acquired recently, and we're like, oh shit, like Double Fine. Even now we're like, oh my god. But obviously Bethesda compared to Double Fine is like 10 times the craziness. And it'd be so crazy because yeah, you could potentially have Sony showing a big Bethesda game on their conference, and the next day Microsoft's like, yeah, that's our studio. And that's, I was just thinking about how bummed I am that that's not a thing. But then my next thought was, like I said, $7.5 billion seems like an unreal number. And also, it's just so fucking crazy that that's how much it costs to get Bethesda. I know they're fucking massive, but Star Wars was what, 3.5 billion? I know inflation, but inflation isn't going to do that. And
banana numbers.
Yeah, so I don't really know how Bethesda pulled that off, or if they just knew that Microsoft wanted them so bad that they kind of could just charge whatever and they just went for it, or how it happened. But then before I get into more like gaming specific and things that actually matter with this, the only thing I was gonna say is, can you think of any acquisition that's been bigger than this as far as studios and gaming? I was trying to think. I didn't try and look anything up, so I want to think of my own. I thought a handful, but there's only one that I think is maybe bigger than this.
I think I can guess.
Okay. What is it?
Rare?
No, that is one that I thought of, but not the one that I'm like, you know what, this might actually be bigger. Because that was my reason of trying to think of these. Like, is there anything that's been bigger? Because I hate...
Is it by Xbox?
No.
Shit, man. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you some of the ones I thought of. I thought of Xbox getting Rare. I thought of EA getting LucasArts. I thought of, they mentioned this one, but I thought of this one, Mojang and Minecraft. I listed a couple other ones that I'm blanking, but I can tell you the one that I think is bigger than it. Actually, I think there's kind of two, but one of them, I'm just kind of curious what you think. So the one that I couldn't believe I forgot is Activision buying Blizzard. I think that is probably bigger than Bethesda. I don't know what they paid for them, but they bought them at like the fucking height of World of Warcraft and then everything else that comes along with Blizzard. You looking it up?
Yeah, because that's like, did Activision pay for Blizzard? What would you guess?
That was a while ago.
Granted, wasn't it more of like a partnership too?
I think it was initially, but then they end up like officially just buying them. Maybe not, because they do call Activision Blizzard.
5.83 billion.
Oh, I was gonna guess 4 billion. So I still living off. And there is inflation, but again, I don't think it'd be that much of a difference. Like I said, I think Bethesda kind of. I don't think it's a bad deal. I think it makes crazy sense for Xbox, but I think they kind of work some magic getting that much money out of it. Because I think.
Yeah.
Do you agree that Blizzard would be bigger? Because that was my whole goal with this. I was like, this might actually be the biggest acquisition in gaming history, but I didn't want to be dramatic, so I was trying to think if there's anything bigger.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you just because yeah, I'd say because of World of Warcraft
Yeah.
and StarCraft
Yeah.
and Diablo.
The other ones I thought of, like I said, I think Mojang was obviously humongous because Minecraft is like a fucking cultural thing. It's humongous, but that's kind of all they have. LucasArts was huge because of Star Wars, but um, it's just Star Wars, which obviously that's massive on its own, but it didn't seem to pan out the way people were thinking. Um, what else did I say? Now I'm already blanking the ones I've listed.
Um, yeah, I think even with inflation, that'd still be like 6 billion,
Yeah.
6.1 billion. Yeah, that's a lot of money they're swinging their dicks around with, and then they announce it a day before pre-orders go up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that was definitely intentional. And then there's this might sound like I'm joking, but there was one more that I think might be bigger, and that is EA getting exclusive right to the NFL simulation games, which sounds like a joke because that's just all it is NFL. But you have to think that NFL is the biggest thing in this country, pretty much, and there used to be like 3 to 4 mainstay humongous NFL games, and EA just fucking took that away from everything. And
Yeah,
Madden is easily, consistently one of the top sellers every single year, and that's by default. A lot of games can't even put out a game every year, and they can just do it with very minimal, relatively minimal effort and income.
this also kind of bleeds into my conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
This,
Oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, buddy.
Okay. Well, I could go on about this because this is crazy. But yeah, the questions I had, and like you had, and a lot of them have been confirmed or kind of mentioned, is what does this mean for Game Pass? If that means all future games are going to come to it because they're Xbox exclusive or Xbox
Mm-hmm.
Studios, and if that means everything that they've already had made would come to it, or it'll just be things in the future, and then also will these things be exclusive, or is Microsoft going to do a thing where they do like Minecraft and just let it be out? So I guess you want to go over some of that stuff. I don't want to be hogging it.
No, you're fine, man. It would be very exciting that everything they had just pops up on Game Pass. But I don't know, man. I think it will, though. Honestly, I think it will. As much as they're promoting that Game Pass,
You think everything they've already made, or just future projects like going from here?
everything, all the old stuff, and it basically, if it's available on the Xbox One, I think it'll be on Game Pass.
Because my thought process was, I think it's only going to be things going into the future, but like I said, some of this has been clarified since then, but I'm talking about how I initially felt. Um, and then, how do you feel? Do you think it is going to be, are they going to be Xbox exclusives, or do you think they're going to do the Microsoft thing they've been doing lately where they own them, but they just still just go everywhere?
I think the older stuff or stuff that has to, that's already been announced,
Mm-hmm.
we will be everywhere. But I think everything after that is going to be exclusive.
I hope you're right, and but I don't think it's going to be that way, which is weird because Microsoft just dropped almost $8 billion.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I think if they're trying to sell systems, that would be the obvious go-to smart move, and that's what I want. Like I said, I think it's so weird when people just think there shouldn't be exclusives and just want everything on everything, because then they're eventually you're just gonna be left with one system. There's not going to be everything anymore, And it's also super annoying. I'm sure you've seen all the Sony fans boys complaining about it, even though they bragged about Spider-Man, all the exclusives they have, and that's the whole point of this. It's supposed to create not wars, but competition, so that way multiple companies can survive in their competitiveness. But I think Microsoft's more worried about selling the platform of Game Pass and selling games overall than they are their system. So I feel like, unfortunately, what I think is that they're just going to own Bethesda, and Bethesda's going to still release everything on everything.
It sucks. I really hope not.
I could be dead wrong. Like I said, it does seem weird they put that much money in if that's what they're going to do. But also they just keep preaching, and not just preaching, but showing that they just want their games on everything, and the Game Pass is kind of what they're pushing for. And that's another thing you could argue about. Well, yeah, the Game Pass is on Xbox, so they're still wanting to buy an Xbox. But I think that's what they're going to push. They're going to be, well, it's on everything, but if you buy Xbox and you have Game Pass, you can get all these way cheaper, even though you can get them on these other systems. You're going to be paying 10 times as much to do it.
Yeah. I just don't. To go back to the exclusive thing, man, I don't. If they're spending that kind of money, this has to be the record, right?
You mean for Microsoft's buying studio?
In general, for everybody.
Oh, yeah, I'd imagine.
They gotta be saying, like, okay, this is to just get everybody over here to Xbox or PC.
Yeah, I think Microsoft definitely has that control. I don't think it's like a question like, oh, do they not offer enough money? I think that's definitely in Microsoft's court now, but I think that's the way they're going is what I'm thinking. But I hope I'm wrong. So like I say, I see nothing wrong with exclusives.
God, man, Xbox really needs those types of exclusives too.
Uh-huh. And that's why this was so crazy and seemed like clickbait at first.
Well, something I just thought of too is Outer Worlds and Fallout on the same company.
Oh yeah, that was another thought that I had because they made Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas, so yeah, a lot of people are talking about that. And a couple other thoughts I had was at first I didn't hear that this deal wasn't closing till midway through 2021 because I was like, well, what does that mean for? That's a long time. So is this any of this going to take effect? But because Deathloop is supposed to be exclusive to PS5, and that's Bethesda, that's going to be so weird if Microsoft Studio just releases an exclusive game on PlayStation. But they said that will still come out in Q2, and it'll be exclusive to PC and PS5 before, this is from comicbook.com, and before coming to other consoles. And it doesn't say what other consoles are, but it was initially a PS5 exclusive, so I'm assuming that means Xbox Series X, I would imagine. And then, yeah, Starfield, the next generation RPG they announced. That was the biggest question I had was what happens to that, but it seems like that's probably not going to be till after this deal closes, so if they do want it to be exclusive, I'm guessing it would be. But it's weird because they initially announced that as a all next generation platform game.
Yeah, I think all that stuff's just gonna change, man. I really hope this is exclusive shit. This is.
Oh, I'm with you. Again, read a few of the things that have come out that I feel like clarify some of it or kind of alludes to it. So this is Phil Spencer speaking of CNET. He said, Spencer made clear that while Bethesda games will adopt some of Xbox's new practices, including launching the Game Pass and becoming playable through game streaming, the company will retain some of the where is it? Oh, what the hell? That was weird. Some of the autonomy, there it is. What the hell? That resulted into some of the biggest games of all time. It is about the culture of those teams. Spencer explained they're not about becoming us, which that makes me think even more. that he didn't say that they're not going to be exclusive, but I feel like that's what he's hinting at, unless he means that it really is what it sounds like, that they're not going to be like part of Microsoft Studios like physically, and they can still work on their own, even though they're going to be exclusive to Xbox. But I read that as they're still their own studio. Microsoft kind of just makes some money.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know why you'd make these kind of moves without having it as exclusive. My mind kind of jumps to Mojang. But my thought is like Mojang's got one thing, and it's already out on those consoles when you bought them.
Yeah, that's definitely the other question. And what I was going to say with Minecraft is that, yeah, I did say how that's already out on the other consoles, but yeah, that's the other thing that people talk about is if new Minecraft ever came out, as if it would come onto the other systems or not. Didn't the Dungeon Crawler game come to the other systems though?
Yeah.
And that was after Microsoft owned them. I know that's way less scale, but it might be a hint at it.
This could be to a hint at that if this console, the new Xbox does not do well, we're going to become a software company.
Yeah. This is from Xbox news.com, and it's kind of just stats about them acquiring them. It said Microsoft acquired 2,300 developers, which is fucking crazy, by purchasing them. And it said that games like Starfield and many unannounced titles will come to Xbox and PC. No mention of other platforms. And Bethesda library titles will be coming to Game Pass. So, see, it kind of goes both ways because that does make it sound like it'll be exclusive to Xbox, but it didn't say that it will only be those. So, it's hard to tell if that's just bad wording or not.
Yeah, they got to clarify this shit.
And then I think the one last thing I have for this segment, you can start talking about what you wanted to, was that did you see Doom Eternal is confirmed to be coming to Game Pass on October 1st?
That's exciting because I really wanted to get that game, but I didn't want to buy it.
I did too, and I was going to buy it at some point, so it's even better.
Exactly.
But that was a game that is obviously came out before Microsoft bought them, and I'm confused how this works if the deal doesn't close till middle of 2021 or end of 2021, how this stuff's even taking effect, or if that just means legally. But that might be a hint that I'm wrong and that all the games are already out might be coming to Game Pass, which obviously I hope I'm wrong on that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That sounds like a... Damn, I don't know. It's exciting, man.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it's just crazy to think about. I know Bethesda's not Bethesda of, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But...
No, yeah, they're definitely not. And like you said, yeah, it does seem kind of weird that they could get that much money out of Microsoft because it does seem kind of like not a struggling company, but kind of like, oh, what do they have right now? But then, yeah, you do also have to think that that's very like short-term thinking because you then also have to think that they have some of the biggest franchising in gaming history with Elder Scrolls and Fallout and Doom and all these games that are like some of the biggest games in gaming history.
Yeah, oh man, just id and all kinds of stuff. God, it better be exclusive. It's like, why are you swinging this kind of money and you're not making it worth your while?
You're welcome to go into your conspiracies and talk about any other news you have, though. I just thought it makes sense to talk about that while you're talking about it.
All right, man. So, we're jumping back to a previous episode here.
Okay.
About our predictions.
Uh-huh.
And I had a crazy prediction that I think that Xbox is hinting around about.
And that's, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's probably pretty easy to guess. But yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Buying Sega.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've been Microsoft has even confirmed. I don't know if you've seen. I should have put in here that they're not done acquiring studios. Like that's officially
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the CNET thing. Or not the CNET, the Forbes article.
Yeah, that's
About
where I
it.
saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So on the press conference, God damn it, I forget his name. He's literally wearing a Sonic the Hedgehog shirt. I didn't pick up on that while watching it, but then they're hinting around at a colorway for the controller. Did you see that?
I did. I have that on here actually.
Yes, it literally is the same color code as Sonic's color. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and then they're saying Did you see the clean and simple, still iconic?
Yeah. You mean how you can space out the letters?
And
Is
it
that?
literally spells Sonic
Uh-huh.
with the controller, with the fucking color codes that match Sonic. And those color codes are like very specific. Even if they're like a little off, you're gonna have a different number. And then of course, did you see the Japanese lady on Sega's um, Twitter?
Uh-oh.
She is surrounded by all of Sega's new like the mini Game Gear and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks very like everything looks like it has a purpose, but then there's a cardboard box randomly thrown on the table, and she's holding up her hands as in the X above the cardboard box that's randomly thrown there as an Xbox. And then someone translated it. It says, when you go to the door to the top of the good sales support, this is a good place on a desk. They were photographed in a sharp way. Good sales supports. A dame in... It makes no fucking sense. I don't even know why they translated that. The fuck does any of that mean? But the fact, if they bought them, this is all of the studios they would get, right? Amplitude, Atlas. They would get Atlas, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Creative Assembly, Hardlight, Relic Entertainment, Sports Interactive, 2 Point Studios, and the Sonic team. Then this kind of goes back to Halo Wars, because then they would get
Creative Assembly.
yes,
Yeah, that's what I was
Creative
thinking.
Assembly. And someone brought up a good point. How about Total Wars but Elder Scrolls? Total War Elder Scrolls. Persona would be an Xbox exclusive, because they talked about them doing Sega from here on out will just handle Xbox in Japan, because it's been an absolute failure. I think that'd be fucking perfect. This is such a good ass match. Fuck WB. If they pull this off, WB don't mean shit. But could you imagine if they bought Sega and WB? Oh my god, it's like the dick swinging is insane. Like, do you think PlayStation's kind of like freaking out like, oh shit, guys? Do we have another apocalyptic game set in the middle of America? Do you have any Denver apocalypse games?
That sounds great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had the controller in here for multiple reasons because I know that's a rumor. I gotta say, I think that one's reading too much into it. I do think the color scheme is weird.
The color
But
code, though.
yeah, that part I think is more. And the color scheme does seem, even that seems kind of weird because one reason I had it on there is they have the black, the white, the common controllers, and they have a blue, which seems odd. And then also the back being white, I was like, this thing looks so clean, and you flip it around, it looks kind of gross. Black would have looked so much cleaner on that, and I would have actually wanted that controller. So I do think it's reading a little too much into it, but then also there is a lot of things that connect it, and also Microsoft obviously loves dropping hints like this. Like I don't know if you saw leading up to Doom Eternal being confirmed, and that's why I said confirmed. They did 2 days before. They said that they had big news coming to Game Pass. They tweeted out, but they said they can't. Did you see that? It was a fake email they tweeted out.
No.
It was from Melissa McGamepass was her name on the email, and it was some like official letter that she was tweeting to Microsoft or emailing, and it leaked out. Um, and it said that the game was beneath it, but that and just look below, but that you'd have to wait. But then people started photoshopping it, and I guess changing the color on it, and I guess Microsoft, that was the plan. They knew people would find it, and it said the Slayer is coming if you photoshopped it right, and that's obviously the main person in Doom is the Slayer guy, and so people figured out like that. So they obviously like playing into all this like nonsense kind of like games and everything. So it is possible that this does seem ridiculous, but is hinting at that. So I guess we could see what happens. And like I said, they did confirm themselves that they're not done acquiring studios, but I guess that could go both ways because I feel like would say that because they're probably always looking at new studios, so they probably would never not say that, I'd imagine.
Oh man, it would just be amazing. Such a good fit too. I've been saying that, but such a great fit.
And did you see the another reason I put the controller in here? Did you see Engadget confirm the controllers are going to stay $60 in Xbox, which is kind of crazy because yeah, the PS5 controllers will be $70. So I was kind of shocked they did that because I feel like, especially with the competition doing 70, you could easily do 70 and get away with it.
Oh yeah, you wanted to know if I pre-ordered one or not.
Oh yeah, I was going to get into that. Yeah, go for it.
I sat on Amazon for an hour, almost an hour, refreshing, and people kept tweeting out like wrong links. Like it was the promo page
Yeah,
for
I
the
saw.
console, and then the one link was not working, and then it would work, but then there was just like a placeholder. And then finally they sent out a third one, and I have a pre-order from Amazon.
Oh, you do? I thought it was definitely going towards you don't. Yeah, it's pretty good luck because did you see what GameStop was getting in stores for their pre-orders?
I saw it was like 5.
Yeah, it said I'll probably reference him a lot, and I'll bring up now when we do these kind of things. It's Wario64. I think I told you to follow him on Twitter, right?
That's
Or maybe you
where I
already
got
did.
my link. That's how I got
Oh,
it.
really?
That's how I got my console.
I thought I'd bring him up because that sounds like if you don't follow games, that sounds like the fakest news account in the world. But for some reason, he knows a lot of shit before people do, so I usually believe a lot of it. So he tweeted before any of those pictures were even on the doors of GameStop that GameStop stores would get pre-orders of 6 to 12 per store of X's and 2 to 4 of S's, which I know you could say, well, that's still high, but some stores did have that many, so I don't think it's an inaccurate report. But another reason why I was bringing that up is I guess that goes against what we were thinking about. If the S or X would sell more, I said that I think the X would sell out faster, but I think the S would actually sell more of them. And my thought process was because I thought they would carry way more of the S's. And if the pre-orders were any hint at that, I guess it's going to be the other way around, and they're going to carry way more X's and S's.
Yeah, that's kind of what I saw too, and I think that makes sense. I don't know. I think their last digital one did not do so. It didn't sell as well as the regular Xbox, of course. So I don't know if that played any factor into it.
Yeah, I thought they would do the opposite, even though I want the X. I thought they were going to do that because they seem to be pushing so hard about how it's the cheapest next-gen console. And like I said, majority of people seems like they won't care, just be able to play all their current games anyways, because nobody seems to care about next-gen games anyways. So I thought they would push that, at least at first. But like I said, I thought it would seem like the X is doing better just because they'd have less on the shelves, but I guess that might not be the case. Microsoft also confirmed the price of the 1 terabyte expansion card. We talked about, I think, a couple weeks ago, and I said how it was rumored to be $250. which is not quite that, but it is confirmed to be 220 for a fucking terabyte of extra storage.
I saw. That's one of the things I pulled up here.
Oh, really? I'm stealing your
Um,
news. My bad.
no, you're fine. It's SST, so I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's something that's definitely gonna really amp everyone's feelings on Xbox, but I think that's gonna go down quick. I think there's gonna be some third-party options.
I hope so. That was my worry, though. Yeah, I know it's SSD, and everybody's talking about how it makes sense that it costs that much, and I know that does cost more, but that's what was my worry. That I know this is the next gen, so it has to be SSD, and I think it's gonna be. I think that works both ways. I think it'll be the same on PS5, but I think with it, I know SSD runs better in all this, but I don't know how much running better matters if you don't have any games to be able to play it. And if you've been seeing some of the reports of PS5 and it came out, Xbox is gonna be much different. Like the Ultimate Edition of Spider-Man Miles Morales is reported to be 120 gigabytes. So, like I said, I don't think games are gonna get more compressed. I hope they do. I hope they figure out how to make file sizes smaller. But I think they're just gonna keep getting bigger. And yeah, I feel like these are left with their choices, either to delete games over and over and re-download them, or get these fucking massive things, which neither seem very next gen to me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And especially the digital version is even weirder because the sale of that is Game Pass and be able to download all these games. You download 2 to 3 games, and that's all you can have on your digital, unless you're gonna spend another 220 on another terabyte.
Yeah, man, I just really hope there's some third-party options.
Oh, me too. Do you have more news? I have some, but I've been talking the whole time. So
Um, just that Amazon announced their own cloud gaming service similar to Google's. This already reeks of failure. And once again, I know I mentioned a lot, but Ubisoft, there's like, oh, is this something that's probably gonna fail soon? Yeah, we're gonna attach to it. Looks like they're gonna have a Ubisoft channel on there. It's kind of odd, but it supports 4K resolution and mobile gameplay. And supposedly incorporating Twitch, which I think is a great idea and really could bring some people over and might have a better chance than Stadia did because of that. But I don't get how those will relate too well because Twitch is pretty. Of course, it's on every computer, on every mobile device, and then it's in both consoles. Like, I don't get how having Twitch on there would change too much.
yeah,
Unless you're like watching a Twitch streamer and then you could be like, oh, what game are they playing? Go take me to the store. It's kind of useless. I don't quite see it, but I think you probably agree with me. This smells like I smell the blood in the water.
yeah, definitely. I thought it was weird how it just dropped out of nowhere, and that was even more reason why I thought that. It didn't seem like a. I'm sure they have been planning it, but it didn't seem from the outside like a planned, well thought out thing. Kind of seemed like there's all right, well, let's get in on it.
Did you see they'll have web apps for iPhone and iPad?
No.
Yeah, it's like, you guys really think it's gonna last on there? Like, Xbox got kicked off pretty quick.
Did you see? I had it on here, but I don't know if I read the whole news story for it. Um, the Verge reported that they said in the next couple weeks, it'll definitely be back on the Microsoft Store on the Apple Store, because Microsoft found a workaround for it for something called, oh shit, I should have had it on here. I think they call them services or some stupid name, but they're, I guess, classify them different than apps, and the way they work is that they use a PC or something else as their interface or their what powers it, and that gives a workaround because it's different than just a straight up app. So they said that Microsoft has already sent in a test build for it, and that Apple is confirming it. So that's just a report, but the report that it is, that it'll be back up in.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, oh, me too. And they said that that means that you can stream from your console, and that there's no way they could kick them off for that. But they said that Microsoft's plan is to have complete parity over the Android app, and that they've already submitted a request for that as well, and they think it'll work.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, I still have my old phone, but it kind of defeats the purpose because the point is being able to take it anywhere. So if I don't have Wi-Fi and carry my old phone, then kind of defeats the purpose of the point of having games wherever you go.
Yeah, dude, I forgot that you have an iPhone now.
Yeah,
I never put those two things together.
Yeah, I can still do it around my house on my old phone, but I guess that kind of defeats purpose. And um, I've been seeing those cool things that you can hook onto them that make them look like a Switch. And they finally put out Apple version of it, which is weird that a company would actually put the effort into making an Apple one when right now you can't even play on an Apple. But maybe they have some inside info on it coming back. And if it's like a permanent thing, I would definitely be down to get those. The controller works fine and it's cool, but I think I'd almost feel more natural to have it as a handheld like that.
Yeah, that. Oh man, that would. Oh shit, that I think would definitely change my view on it as well.
Yeah. I think the screen might not seem as small because naturally it's kind of holding it like you would a Vita or 3DS, kind of like up to your face.
Dude, see now I gotta buy one of those. How much are one of those?
They're not cheap. I think they're like 100 because I think they're made by Razer and they've been reviewing really well.
Okay, well if it's worth it.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I feel like that's something I would use all the time.
Yeah, oh man. I like how this like console's quickly turning into $1,000. If I got that with the memory card and the new console. With the Razer thing too, it'd be kind of nice because money's not technically going to China.
Yeah.
It's going to Mr. Tan.
I think it is Razer. Do you look that up? I just thought it was them, but I could be making it up.
Let's see, Razer, Xbox. Maybe the Game Pass. Razer Jungle Cat.
That's a terrible name if that is it, but it might be.
Oh, buddy, you should definitely hop on Razer's website sometime and read some of these ridiculous names. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. You want me to read off some to you? Yeah, I think it is the Jungle Cat.
Yeah, okay.
Jungle Cat. It features twin analog thumbsticks and bumper buttons in a combat ergonomic form. Leave your opponents behind and enhance your mobile gaming experience. God, that looks terrible. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, that's cool looking, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Products. Let's go to controllers. Or maybe it's the Razer Kishi. Razer Kishi. Oh, that must be the new Apple one.
Yeah,
The
okay.
Apple one's called Kishi. And Raiju is the fucking controller version. Let's go read their mice. The Death Adder. The Naga Pro. The Naga Left-Handed Edition. Razer Viper. Ballistic. Is it Ballistic? Yeah, Ballistic.
Ballissa.
But yep. So yeah, I mean that's fucking $1,000. Especially if like, oh, I need extra controller too. Oh yeah, babe, I need a couple games as well. With the Game Pass, so I don't think I'll need any games right away.
Yeah. All right. You have any other news?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Are you ready to feel like you're losing your damn mind?
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna read one article about Miles Morales. Some of it I get. Some of it I just lose my train of thought after hearing Spider-Man and Miles Morales like 40 times. But here it goes from IGN. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales will have an Ultimate Edition on PS5 that includes
a remaster version of PS4's Marvel Spider-Man, but there are currently no plans to offer the remaster as a standalone game for PS5 players. In a statement provided to IGN by a Sony representative, the company confirmed that the only ways to get Marvel Spider-Man Remastered are by buying the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for PS5. Additionally, if you buy Miles Morales for PS4, you can play the PS5 version of the game at no additional cost, and you can purchase an additional paid upgrade. I think that's implied with purchase to gain access to Spider-Man Remastered. Marvel Spider-Man on PS5 via backwards compatibility. Okay. Existing owners of the game on PS4 cannot upgrade or buy the remaster edition separately. Sony's full statement reads, this is where it's the best. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered is an enhanced version of Marvel Spider-Man and is included as part of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for the PS5. In addition...
like reading Xbox console titles.
Play-
Xbox XX25X.
Players who purchase Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales on PlayStation 4 can upgrade at no additional cost to the PS5 version
Oh my god.
of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales and can take advantage of a paid upgrade to download Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. There are no plans currently to offer Marvel Spider-Man Remaster as a standalone. Players with a copy of Marvel Spider-Man on PS4 can...
Oh my
Can-
god. You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
When Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl and he was just like Bud Light, Bud Light, Bud Light, Bud Light.
Can purchase Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition to experience...
Are they getting paid every time they say Spider-Man?
to experience Marvel Spider-Man Remastered on PS5's Marvel Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
For PS4 will also be backwards compatible on PlayStation 5. Owners of the Spider-Man Miles Morales PS5 game disc can access the offer by inserting the disc into their PS5 console. PS4 game disc owners can buy the PS5 Digital Edition disc-free console will not be able to access this offer. Sony has confirmed that several of its major next-gen releases will also be arriving on PS4. In a blog post, this is I don't know if you saw this. This is actually crazy news. The company confirmed that Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Forbidden West, and Sackboy Big Adventure are all coming to the current gen, as well as the next-gen hardware. So, we'll get back to Spider-Man in a second, but that's definitely the craziest news is that 3 of the biggest games and were thought of to be PS5 exclusives are coming to the current gen. And crazy for multiple reasons. No, and they've had some pretty hard stances and clearly taking knocks at Xbox in all their interviews, talking about how they believe in generations. That's why if you want to play the newest games, you have to buy the new console, which I think a lot of people think is smug and comes off douchey, but I thought that was cool and I like that because, like I said, as much as I like Xbox, It's annoying that there's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. You can play anything anywhere, which is cool in theory, like the streaming and everything, but the point of a new system is supposed to be like the next gen games that were not possible in the old gen, and clearly all these are, especially because Spider-Man and Sackboy launch with the system, or at least launch window. I think Sackboy is a launch game, but Horizon Forbidden West doesn't come out till 2021. And
the launch game?
what's that?
Sackboy's a launch game?
I know Spider-Man is for sure, and Sackboy is the at least launch window. I think a launch day, but if not, it's a launch window. But Horizon doesn't even have a definitive date and doesn't come out till 2021. So we're not even talking about like just that it's like a transfer of systems and maybe they want to release it right then. We're talking about games that are potentially
pretty far away, even coming out cross-gen. So kind of crazy and makes me more confused because, like I said, one bummer I was having a PS5 is that Spider-Man, Sackboy, and Ratchet and Clank were the main games for me, which it seems like Ratchet still is going to be PS5 exclusive. But now 2 of the 3 games that I were wanting the most, and I'm guessing Horizon would be one of those for me as well. I just haven't beat the first one, are coming out on the console I already have. So it was already a console that was a hard sale for me, and now I feel like they're making it easier to not buy it. Well, I don't get what the point of this is.
Yeah, I just looked it up too. Sackboy is the launch title.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. As I said, I never remember Sony doing that. Yeah, and I think that new console generations, that line's getting more and more blurred.
Yeah. What do you have to say about Spider-Man?
Spider-Man Miles Morales Collector's Edition will only be available to PS5 people who have Spider-Man the aluminum, but for people with Spider-Man Copper, they can only buy the digital PS5 version of Miles Morales.
You know what this reminds me of? You're talking about how it reminds you of something. This reminds me in basketball. I don't know if you remember this. They're talking about teams making the playoffs, and it's real simple. The playoff picture right now. And as much as I love sports, it is true they dramatized it. But yeah, it's pretty simple because if Oakland beats San Diego, then San Diego would move on to the first round of the playoffs. And if Oakland beat, and they go on for like 5 minutes to say this simplified version of the playoffs. This
I've never seen basketball.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I've seen it way too many.
I was gonna say, haven't we talked about this? Have you fucked with me? Because I would have had to show you that.
I've watched it way too many fucking times.
So the Spider-Man thing is obviously fucking ridiculous, and I was partly reading for humor because there is things in here that make sense, and even though it's highly confusing, and I don't know why I need Spider-Man and Miles Morales and PS5 and PS4 in here 40 times. And trying to read through it now, I'm like, shit, what were the points? Because they just fucking confused it entirely with this. But let me try and find the standout points in here without reading this whole thing. So the Ultimate Edition on PS5, you get the remaster of Spider-Man and the Miles Morales with it. And I guess there's an issue people are having not being able to buy the Spider-Man Remastered standalone as a PS5 game, but I don't know why the fuck people would want that. Why would you want that without Miles Morales? I don't know who would be buying that. That part I was like, is there an issue there? That seems to make sense to me. And then people are complaining because saves don't cross over from the PS4 version to the PS5 version, which I guess that would be a nice feature, but that's not something I would expect moving across generations to a game. The fact that you can upgrade it already seems like a kind of a nice thing to me.
Yeah. I feel like there's a way easier way to present that shit though.
Yeah, I think there's more in there, but we can move on because that is something right there. I'll send it to you just so you can see how many times I say all those 4 things over and over.
Well, they also said PlayStation about 1 billion times too.
Yeah, and I misread a couple of them, but they kept fucking randomly switching between using PS4 and PS5 and using PlayStation for some reason. I was like, why don't you just use them all the same? You also don't care about having the same things too many times because you say Spider-Man 40 times. But the next thing was, did you see they announced a special edition of Halo Infinite? Not a console, unfortunately, but of the game.
No.
You might be all over it. I don't think it's cool, but I don't think I can do it. It's the Halo Infinite disc-based game, a steel case, which just looks like a fucking straight up black case to me. I don't see anything cool about it unless they're not presenting it well. $10 reward to Best Buy and a 10.5-inch Master Chief figure done by Dark Horse. So it looks really cool and it looks really well made. And 10.5 is pretty big, no jokes. But
Are there pictures out for this yet?
Yeah, there is on Best Buy's website. Yeah, you should look it up. It
Is
looks
Best Buy
cool.
exclusive?
Yep, only at Best Buy it says.
Oh.
But it costs. It's on sale right now for $105. But the statue is 45 right now, and the game's 60. So I'm confused. And the steel book or steel case just literally looks like a black fucking square to me. It doesn't look like there's any cool engravings or anything.
Yeah, I'm not having the collector's edition pop up here. Oh, here it is. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I don't know. This is odd.
Yeah, are you seeing anything on that black case? It just looks like they just literally threw in a black tin.
Unless that's a fill. That's definitely a filler.
Like you
Yeah.
think they're
Yeah, placeholder. Sorry,
place.
placeholder.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
I might
'cause
be
you go to
more.
where it's just by itself for $10. It's just literally just blacked out.
I think the statue is really cool, but I mean you could buy that separately. But I don't think that's too much for a statue because it does look well made. So I'm sure it's fair, but I don't think I want to pay that much for a statue.
Yeah, I don't. What the hell else do you get with it?
I think that's it. Like I said, the statue when it's not on sale is 60, and the game's 60, and they're selling it for 105. So I think that's all you get.
And the steelbook by itself is 10.
And I mean, unless you care about having a physical game, we get the game day one on Game Pass, obviously, no matter what system you have.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. With Halo, I like it so much I'm going to buy it physical, but unless there's a really cool collector's edition or there's hopefully a special edition console that comes with it, then I'll probably just rock the Game Pass version until I see it on sale and can buy it physical to have it. Just kind of like owning the Halo games. Then the only other thing I had news-wise was this was according to Eurogamer. It's just a rumor, but it seems to make sense. I know we don't talk about rumors a lot, but it said Final Fantasy 16 is only a console exclusive for 12 months, and then it says it's coming out on PC. Wait, that doesn't make sense. It's only console exclusive for 12 months. It's coming out on PC 6 months after launching on PS5 and on Xbox Series X a year later. So, am I misreading that, or does that not make sense to you? I put it in here, but then I just read it again.
Say it again.
So it says Final Fantasy 16 is only console exclusive for 12 months. It's coming out on PC 6 months after launch on PS5 and on Xbox Series X a year later. But wouldn't it be console exclusive for 6 months? Or no, I get what it's saying. Exclusive to that console is what it means, not exclusive to a console in general.
Okay.
That's just weird wording. But I think it makes sense, and I brought it up because we streamed the conference live, and we thought how crazy that was. It's PS5 exclusive, but that seems to make more sense and is believable. Why I put in here is that it's a timed exclusive, which I feel like is perfectly believable.
Yeah, that I like how PlayStation kind of did not explain that.
Yeah. And it still could be untrue. That's a report, but Eurogamer's pretty big, and so that seems to make complete sense. We can move on to pickups. I know you said you're going to do yours next week.
Yeah, yep.
I only got a few, and I normally don't have them. But I bought, these were all with you as well, so you already know, but all Blu-ray. I bought Cats, the Oscar-winning movie. Saw the final chapter, and the first and sadly probably only a season of Who is America. Fantastic Sacha Baron Cohen show. But that was all my pickups this week. And then I guess we'll get to yours next week.
Yeah, it's a lot. But,
That's okay. Fine by me. What have you been playing?
What's that?
What have you been playing?
Honestly, just the Halo mobile games.
Oh, like the Operation Strike, or whatever they call it. Like the.
Yeah, Spartan Strike.
Yeah, there's two of them. Have you played both?
I'm on the first one right now. I don't know
Okay.
if that's Spartan Strike or
I think those games are
Spartan
actually,
Assault.
yeah, I think those games are actually really fun. They kind of remind me of bite-sized Halo Wars games.
Yeah, no, I like them too. I think the writing sometimes kind of sucks.
Yeah, those are out on Game Pass as well. You can play them like on the system.
Oh, that's how I'm playing them.
Oh, okay. You said mobile, so I know if you actually meant mobile, because that's how I first played them was mobile when my Windows phone. I was so excited, but now they're on console and they have co-op. So anytime you want to play those, I'm down.
Oh, I'm down too, man. They're fun. It's fun going through and trying to get all the do it quick enough that you um, get all the stars.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds me of Hotline Miami, but not as intensive or as scary.
I still have actually never played that game. I've heard really good things, but I know what it's about though.
God, it's painfully difficult.
I usually don't like those games. I don't mind difficult games, but not games where it's like that. They get so mad you don't want to play it.
Yeah, it's like that, but minus the anger.
Yeah. Um, that's all for you, or are you playing more?
That's it.
All right. I don't have too much in playing or watching. So I've been trying to get some other stuff done, but I did play about a week ago. I played Among Us. I know everybody's freaking out about this game right now, but I played with a group of friends. It did seem cool. Kind of like if you ever played Mafia in real life, I feel like it's kind of like a digital version of that, which I was never a big fan of Mafia. But when it's digital, I think it's takes a lot of the weirdness away from it. But it
The
was
only thing
fun.
is,
Uh
oh,
huh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good.
Kind of pisses me off though because these games, I feel like it copied Trouble in Terrorist Town. I think that's what it was called.
I,
Um, I don't know why it's bothering me so much. Let me make sure I got this right. So yeah, Trouble in Terrorist Town. It's a game on Gary's mod.
mm-hmm.
It's almost verbatim.
Oh really?
Um, and I don't know. I feel like I'm. It's the fucking Arma thing again with battle royales. It's
No,
like,
I hear
oh,
you.
these guys made this mod or changed a really famous game slightly and made their own servers, and that I feel like they never ultimately don't get credit. Oh, dude! First thing I type in Trouble in Terrorist Town, and it's like versus Among Us. It says Among Us is better than Trouble in Terrorist Town. It's like, yeah, well, no shit, it's not. Yeah, but Trouble in Terrorist Town, man, Jesus Christ, that game's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against trying. I wasn't even crazy about this game. I didn't care about the hype. It's just a group of my friends were wanting to play it, so I'm down to try something. I don't know how long this game's been out, but I thought it was kind of cool because I didn't know anything about that game. But I guess this game's been around for a while as well, and they said that it's actually been around for a decent amount of time. Probably not before that one, but I thought it was cool because it's been around for a decent amount of time. And I guess it was never popular, and then people
Mm-hmm.
discovered it. So I thought it'd be cool being that developer and be like, oh well, what's a failure? And be like, what the fuck? Why do people care about this all of a sudden? And then just seeing it blow up. I
Did you
guess
see
it.
they canceled their sequel?
Yeah, and I was gonna say that was the reason because they're like, shit, we gotta do something. And then they saw how it blew up, and they're all right. Well, let's just hook onto this, which I think is smart. I think a lot of people probably see that um, as like a knock against them, like they aren't good enough for a sequel. But I feel like that's probably a really smart decision. So many of these big games try and do that, like Angry Bird and all these things, and just keep going instead of focusing on what they have and making sure it stays good or making it better. So I feel like it's probably the right move. I still have only played it once. I wasn't crazy about it. It was just fun. But I also only actually knew three of the people of the nine we were playing with. And Ryan was here with me, but everybody else was just on Discord. So I feel like that kind of game would be a lot better. You can even do it in person. You're still all using your phones. I feel like that would be so much more fun as like a group of us, and we could all shit talk and discuss and everything. But with a group of people I mostly didn't know, I feel like kind of took out a lot of that. And then we had the guy that not a commander because it's not a shooter, but kind of like a know-it-all. So,
Hmm.
especially for me, never playing this game, having somebody like that in there, I was kind of like, it's kind of just taken away from the fun. I just want to be able to experience this thing.
How are you guys communicating with each other?
Over Discord voice.
Discord. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I say Trouble in Terrace Town, everyone's like running around screaming at each other.
Oh.
Because there's like a cop that's also trying to, was it sheriffs? I can't remember what they call them. But he's trying to find the terrorists, or the terrorists try to kill all the citizens and the sheriff.
Yeah, that's the cool thing, and what I'm worried about in our group of friends, because I don't know who would follow it exactly, that you're actually not supposed to talk during the game at all, and then in between rounds, when somebody finds a dead body, is when you're all allowed to talk to each other. So it's kind of a cool thing of everybody being silent, because if you're like, oh, I just died, then everybody's going to know exactly what happened. So it's kind of one of those games that you definitely is depending on you for how much fun you want to make it. If you want to ruin it or if you don't want to play it the right way, then you're going to be like, yeah, that game was stupid. It didn't even play right, but then it's kind of on you. Um, and then played some more MCC. I know I say that like every week, but I'm always playing it. And I actually played multiplayer as normal, but I also just beat Halo 4 again. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. My computer just
Can
the
you hear me?
screen. Yeah, the screen shut off just a second. I think it might have just been. Oh, you know what it was? You can probably guess. Yeah. Let me turn it off. Never fails. But I actually just beat Halo 4 again because Nick's never played the newer ones, and every time I play it, I am more confused how people hate on him so much. I know it's just because it's not Bungie, but they're so well made. And just a second. I'm back. You still there? Hello?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was worried. But
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay.
okay. Um, but I feel like they do so much right with Halo, and it bummed me out even more. I don't know if you remember when you beat 4, that long message they put in there about how that's the start of their journey, and it was like this big long message and about how they hope that the Halo community will trust them with it and that they know they'll make mistakes. And I was like, oh boy, they definitely didn't do that with you. They gave you about half a second a chance, but having a lot of fun with that. And we talked before you started replaying all of them, and during you replaying them. Do you remember me talking about? I was like, do you remember at the beginning of the first level of Halo 4 when that elite comes at you, you're on like the corridors, and he's trying to bust you down? You're like, no, I don't remember that. It must be Halo 5. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah.
Because that is in Halo 4. I don't know if you thought I was talking about something else, but I was like, this seems just like what I was talking about. And then,
It's possible. I need to probably go back and rewatch that intro.
yeah, it's really cool, and I feel like it's cinematic, but also doesn't feel like it's Call of Duty where it's so scripted that you're like, why is this even in here? Which is one of my issues with Call of Duty, as you know.
Yeah.
Um, Played Madden. I streamed my Week 4 game. Absolutely dominated the Chargers.
Nice.
Thank you. Streamed a little bit more Alien Isolation. I don't think I understand this game. It makes me feel like I'm an 80-year-old and I've never played a game before. The game seems solid besides the issues I pointed out. I just don't want to talk about everything I've already said, but I really feel like I've never played a game playing this game before, which feels so weird to me because I play games so much that there's not much that I don't know how to play just because I do it so much. Not because I'm amazing, but still trying to stick with it. And then
Besides that, that's actually all I've been playing. I kind of did my notes wrong here. That's why I was mixed up. But what have you been watching?
Really nothing too much, man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting pretty deep into
The Muff?
yes. Um, Matt Stoney videos. He's a competitive eater that I really like. It's probably kind of like the LeBron James of competitive eating.
Uh-huh.
Man, that's really about it. I haven't been watching too many movies or TV shows.
I gotcha.
Just YouTube. Always YouTube.
Okay. I've been watching a little bit. I went to see Jurassic Park, the original one, with my dad because they brought it back to the theater, and not much to see right now. And Jurassic Park is always great. I love it. And it reminds me of being a kid. And I started watching more of your favorite show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, the show's growing on me more.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, Renee always has it playing, and I'll watch an episode here and there.
I always thought it was weird that you didn't like it, but I knew you didn't, so that's why I said it like that.
You're fine. It's not the best thing in the world, but I feel like what it's trying to do. There's some shows out there that do it much better. I don't know. It's never really clicked with me, but it goes from me hating it to like being like, okay, I can tolerate this, and I'll laugh here and there.
Yeah. I started watching it again because I watched it when I lived with my parents because we had cable, and I knew I wasn't caught up, but I was looking at Hulu and I was like, oh shit, I might be multiple seasons behind. So I just started on season 12 because I thought I might have been. And I know the first 2 episodes I've watched, I've definitely already seen, but I always try and do that, try and start the possibly earliest I might have missed and just have to rewatch that instead of missing shit. I'd rather do rewatch a little bit than miss something. So I'm just going to start there and work my way through. Right now they're on season 14, about to go into 15, so I'm not too far behind. But besides that, did you hear about this new documentary? It's a 4-part series on Netflix called Challenger, The Final Flight.
No.
I think you'd be really interested in it. I've only watched the first episode, but it's really good. It's about NASA's Challenger mission, but it's produced by J.J. Abrams, and obviously that's a sale for me, but the reason I point that out is because there's obviously a lot of documentaries that cover stuff like this, but I feel like it's pretty rare that you have somebody that big up that can put that much money behind it. So it's cool seeing something like this that's such high production values and kind of like produced like a movie. So it kind of makes it more dramatic and interesting instead of just like, it's kind of dragging on.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm actually going to pull it up and add it to my list.
Yeah, I think you'll like it a lot.
Always looking for stuff to watch at work.
Yeah, let me know if you know. Let me know on here if you do. I've only watched the first one, but it's only 4. They're all like 40 minutes, not 40 episodes. But from what I've seen, I really enjoy it. And then we got back to our Lost night tonight. I know you weren't here for it, but we haven't been able to do that for a couple weeks now. And I won't spoil anything, but there's not many Lost episodes I don't like, so I know I say this often, but I liked both of them. And one of them is actually my all-time favorite Lost episodes, but I think you're going to think it's too cheesy, but I hope I'm wrong, because it's one of my favorites. Then besides that, just a good amount of sports. I've been watching some of the Columbus Crew. They're the top team in all of the MLS right now. Yeah, I've been watching some Reds because they're in a playoff spot right now, which is fucking nuts after having no hope the last 6 years. But it's exciting. They're in a wild card spot and tied for a division spot, so they have 2 chances at it, 3 games left, so they could definitely get knocked out. But at worst, if they do, it made it exciting up till the end of the year, which
the past 6 years it's been. Stop being exciting at about quarter way through the season. So at worst, I'll take it, and at best, they make it to the playoffs, and I think there's a good chance they do. And like I said, since the start of the season, I think they potentially have the best starting pitching in all of baseball. Their bullpen has sucked, but has done better lately. And then their offense, if they play up to par, I think can beat anybody in the league, but they're so inconsistent that that's a big if. And the Red Sox are the worst team in the league, so that's another thing. If the Reds get knocked out, that's enough for me. That is so fucking great. They have the second highest salary in all of baseball, and they're the fucking worst team in baseball. It's awesome.
Yankees are the top.
Yeah, and that's what annoys me and makes me hate the Red Sox even more than the Yankees is that for some reason so many Red Sox fans, even outside Boston, are, well, yeah, I like the Red Sox because they're underdogs. I mean, the Yankees, look how much money they got. Like, yeah, do you realize you have more money than every other team except the Yankees? You're not picking an underdog. You're picking them right underneath them. An underdog would be anybody underneath the Red Sox.
Yeah.
But besides that, just some NFL. I went on and on about that during my Madden stream, so I won't get too into it. But that's it for me. Should we get into the free games?
Sure, man.
For some reason, PlayStation and Xbox haven't put out their games for October yet, which is odd because I feel like the last week of every month we have a transition, so I don't know why they haven't. Hope that means something big's happened in next gen, but I'm guessing they probably just haven't done it, is my guess. So on Xbox One, you have The Division till September 30th. You have the Book of Unwritten Rules 2. I downloaded that and still don't know what that is. Till October 15th. On 360, you have Armed and Dangerous till September 30th. Jesus. And PlayStation Plus, you still have Street Fighter 5 and PUBG till October 5th. Any fake outrage?
God, I hate Street Fighter so much.
It doesn't seem fake. I think you hate fake. Think you hate Street Fighter.
I just said that because I was wearing the fucking Ryu shirt.
Oh, yeah. I even looked at it earlier and I didn't process that.
No fake outrage. I was actually thinking today I was really trying to plan a good one, but I was like, I'm just not going to force something stupid.
No, I hear you. I actually had one and lost it, so let's both do that. We don't have to force it, but yeah, let's both see if we can think of a good one. And if we don't get one, then we won't do it because that's the whole point of it. I don't want it to be forced and dumb. But we can end it here, I guess. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at currentbacklog. And you can email any questions, or feedback to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. And then just going to end with an inspirational quote here. I looked up to see you laughing. All right, so I got it here. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales will have an Ultimate Edition on PS5 that includes a remastered version of PS4's Marvel Spider-Man, but there are currently no plans to offer the remaster as a standalone game for PS5 players. In a statement provided... I think you cut out there. I waited for you. To IGN by a Sony representative, the company confirmed that the only ways to get Marvel Spider-Man Remastered are by buying Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for PS5. Additionally, if you buy Miles Morales for PS4, you can play the PS5 version of the game at no additional cost. You can purchase an additional paid upgrade to gain access to Spider-Man Remastered.
A lawyer wrote this.
Marvel Spider-Man on PS5 via backwards compatibility. That didn't make sense. Existing owners of the game on PS4 cannot upgrade or buy the remastered edition separately. Sony's full statement reads, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, an enhanced version of Marvel Spider-Man is included as part of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for the PlayStation 5. In addition, players who purchase Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales on PlayStation 4 can upgrade at no additional cost to a PS5 version of Miles Morales Spider-Man. And you can take advantage of a paid program to download Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. There are currently no plans to offer Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered as standalone as a standalone. Players with a copy of Marvel's Spider-Man for PS4 can purchase Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition to experience Marvel Spider-Man Remastered on PS5. Marvel Spider-Man for PS4 can also be purchased with backwards compatibility on PS5. Owners of the Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales can PS4 game disc, that's not English, can access this offer by inserting the disc into the PS5 console. PS4 game disc owners who buy the PS5 digital edition disc-free console will not be able to access this offer.
Oh my God, is it over?
Yeah.
Um,
I was getting through it fast, and then you start talking. I was like, oh, shit, now I'm losing it.
that is definitely written by a lawyer.
I think we should read that at the end of every episode. And we can switch. Next week you can read it.
Sounds good.
Oh, I was joking, but I'm down for it if you want to.
Wow, that is a fucking art. You just found that article and you're like, well, holy shit.
Yeah, like I said, there is real information there, but the more I read it, the more confused of what the information was I even saw in the first place. Because looking at it like that time, I was like, shit, there is no information in there that I understand anymore. At one point, I was like, this doesn't make sense, but I get what they're saying. Maybe I can make the title of this episode the entire article.
Please do that.
I don't think it'll let me. I could put that as a description.
You should do that.
I can try and do that one. Still might be too many characters, but we can try for that. All right. Is that it for us here?
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Emails, Twitter,
Yeah.
and Facebook, and Miles Morales. Bye.
Bye.